unfortunately going to need that fan on. It's too hot in here. Right.
Yeah, I had to do the same. I'm actually in the middle of a heat advisory, which I was telling my West Coast friends about, and Southern friends actually too. And I was like, yeah, it hit 90 degrees, and then they started laughing like, that's what gets you a heat advisory over there? Which honestly, yeah, is a little pathetic, but is fucking hot.
You know how are they during winter?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Australia laughing at Britain during the summer, and then they're all like, oh no, it's the coldest winter ever, and it's like 1 degree Celsius. Yeah. Shut the fuck up.
It's okay, they're all arguing over gasoline over there, I hear.
Over what?
Gasoline.
I see.
Like Mad Max.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay. For a moment there, I thought we were talking about a real thing. I was like, what's that? What's gasoline?
This is an embarrassing thing to say on a microphone, but I don't actually know if them saying gasoline in Mad Max is like a Mad Max thing, or like that's just like a turn of phrase in Australia.
I mean, that I think that's fair. I think Australia's earned that. Well, we have clapped. We've got everything set up. I am gonna go in. Yeah! Hello, you are listening to Ultra Q, episode 108. This is the last episode of Ultraman Leo. It's been a short season this time, but you know, it's quick turnaround. It happens. My name is Red. I am joined by Mel.
They put him in the device one last time. Also joined by Brad.
These episodes have been crafted to specifically deal with our three W's. The first one shows the power of women. The second one proves that if you're whimsical enough, divine intervention is needed to stop you. And the last one shows the potential of whippersnappers to secure our future.
I can't believe the three W's. It's happened.
The three W's
it's finally
on,
here.
On the Buddhist number.
On the Buddhist number.
Oh yeah, happy 108.
Happy 108. I don't really know what the significance is of 108 in Buddhism. I'm not too familiar. I just know it is. I know there was a big deal around that manga about the gems and how everyone was like worried. They were like, oh my god, is that manga going to end on like 108? And then it did. And it was a big deal.
That was a Land of Lustrous, yeah.
That's the one? That's what it's called? Yeah.
I've read every chapter of Land of Lustrous except for that last one.
Oh, I see. Is the idea of reading that last chapter stressful?
No, I just forgot. I'm like, well...
Oh, you're doing what I did with Ergo Proxy.
Oh, yeah. Did you ever finish that show?
Yeah, I talked about
it on the podcast.
I don't remember everything that happens on this podcast.
It was a good ending. I like that show. It's alright.
Yeah, cool. Well, I haven't done... I've been doing shit, but like I haven't done nothing this week. I've just been like... I've been ill. You can maybe hear it in my voice, dear listener. I'm still not feeling completely 100%. But here we are. I have been doing nothing but playing Etrian Odyssey and shoving anime into my eyes. Excellent anime such as Escaflowne and other anime as well. We'll be talking about that stuff next week, maybe. Who wants to talk about that week? Who wants to go?
I have all of one thing.
I have
one
zero
thing.
Things.
Oh, you know what? This is fucking great for a finale. Thank you, both of you. This is perfect.
So, do you want to know the genuine funny thing that I thought about all of me restarting my computer to join this Discord call? Is I'm pretty sure I had things this week, but I've completely forgot them because my brain is fried because I stood up until 6 a.m. playing Tekken 8 as part of a 12-hour play session that was only interrupted by eating and pooping.
I'm gonna tell you, when it was like noon, and I saw you posting about playing Tekken, and I was like, the podcast is in like 3 hours.
I woke up at like 7. I think I saw Brad retweeting stuff where I was like, hang on a second.
I was like, what? Is he up really? I don't think he's up really early. I think this is the same session.
It was the same session. My friend Trick, shoutouts to him, told me at hour 2, oh, you're going to be doing this all day. I can hear it in your voice. You're not going to go to bed. He was right. I thought it's about time I finally join everyone in the blue ranks. Which is it's pretty hard. I talked last time I gave a Tekken 8 rank update. I was like, oh, purple is where stuff starts to get like fairly serious, was kind of the tenor I had to it, which is true. Blue ranks are where people get hard stuck. The rank I am at now, which is the first blue rank, is the largest, like percentage-wise, of all of the active Tekken 8 players. It is the most populated rank, and that is because people cannot escape it. This is often where they land and see no more forward progress and then stop playing, or this is where they hit and go, okay, I'm good. I'm not going to play ranked anymore. I'm just going to play, like, the casual player match mode or whatever. Notably, the blue ranks are where, like, within the actual mechanics of the games themselves, this is the first rank where when you lose more ranked points than you gain by winning. So this is where you actually need to start to have a positive win rate to actually progress in the ranking system.
Mm-hmm.
You can get by sort of in the other modes, and even this one too a little bit, by getting win streaks. Like, I think it's like your third game and beyond, you start to get more points than you would just by winning normally, and then that starts to, like, go even higher the larger that streak is, because they're like, okay, if you're going on a win streak, you're clearly advanced and graduated beyond this rank, so let's get you up to the next one faster, sort of thing. So yeah, I have no doubts that I'm going to be stuck here for some time. Purple is kind of where everyone playing the game has a very well understood flowchart and overall strategy for their character, but maybe isn't really that familiar with everyone else in the game and what they're supposed to be doing. Blue is where a lot of people say, oh, this is where you can't really get by on just gimmicks anymore. You kind of need to know how to actually properly respond when other characters do their key moves, and just kind of know, like, oh, this is how I'm supposed to deal with this, this is how I can evade this is how I can punish this, sort of thing. So it's going to be a lot of homework moving on ahead from here, but I'm looking forward to it. It is kind of nice to finally be at a level in this game where after, like, the first couple rounds of a match, because Tekken is, like, the first to get 3 wins is who takes the game. It's not 2 like in other games. But after you get a few rounds in, I definitely noticed as I got towards the end of Purple Rank, it was like, oh, okay, I am familiar enough with this game, and the people I'm fighting are familiar enough with this game, that I can start moving my character in a way to make them think I'm going to do the next part of my, like, flow chart, basically, or whatever my typical traditional game plan would be. But then I'm not actually going to do it. I'm going to go do something else, because they're going to attempt to punish me for doing that. But what I'm actually going to do is calling them out for assuming I was doing the thing I was going to do. And like, those sorts of mind games are starting to actually really take effect. And my favorite part about this, and actually this is one thing I think as a player that when I do get a good enough handle on games, I feel pretty happy with, where it's like, the first time around, I'll do a fake out. The second time around, they expect the fake out again, so I'll just do it normally. And then the third time, I'll just fake out again. And like starting to mix up that sort of rhythm and cadence so that they just can't predict what you're doing, really satisfying. And I'm like, okay, yeah, this is why fighting games are great. So yeah, probably not going to hear a Tekken 8 update from me for a while, because I just really need to hit the books now. And that roster is like 40 characters deep, so I got a lot of learning to do.
You gotta get your Tekken 8 degree.
Yeah. Also, too, everyone has a bajillion moves, and I'm starting to see the niche shit I've never seen anyone else use before. I'm also starting to use the niche shit with Reina that I've never seen anyone else use before. She has this dumb little crouch, dodge, duck thing that nobody uses, that I have started to use, because you can use it to not only, like, bait out high attacks, but also, like, you can wave dash out of it, so you can kind of do it as, like, a quick little stutter for your forward pressure to make people mistime their punishes. And I'm just like, damn, this game deep. I understand why many Tekken players don't actually play any other fighting game, because it's a fucking time suck. There's infinite things to learn, so Tekken good. The state of the game, still a little ass, I'm not gonna lie.
But Tekken itself as, like, an idea, as an institution.
They also, I think, let go of the previous balancing team and brought back the one from Tekken 7.
I think you mentioned that they fired the...
They've just fired the... Okay.
Yeah, the reception was so overwhelmingly bad that they were like, we pulled back together the team that was responsible for the Tekken 7, like, final last season balancing, and moving forward, they're the ones making the changes. And we haven't gotten big changes since then, just a few, like, minor ones, but overall people are like, this is a step in the right direction, so...
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good luck to Tekken.
Yeah.
Sounds it's been a crazy year.
It has been. See, the thing is, every fighting game, especially early on, has that era where the player base is large enough that they'll just be like, this game is fucking terrible, it's garbage, it's the worst thing. And then, when they actually fix it, everyone's like, oh, this is fucking amazing. But then a bunch of new people are like, well, I didn't play because everyone said it was garbage. And now that, like, people like it, I'm never gonna catch up. So this time I learned. I'm just gonna play through the dog shit. Because that's still experience.
That could be me with Europa Universalis 5.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess.
Yeah.
I'll just throw in, because related to the thing we did before we started. I did actually watch last week a Mad Max 2 and forgot to mention it.
Lol.
Oh.
That's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do understand. I do think, oh, I see. Fury Road is all here, kind of.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
All right. Well, I guess in frankly, times not seen since like 2023. Do you want to talk about Ultraman?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we can do that. So we got 3 episodes today.
Actually, can I say, just
Yeah.
overall tenor of the episodes, I do not think in the history of us recording this podcast, we have had a batch of 3 episodes that have had so much pull and weight and actual impact for how I felt about a series that these 3 episodes.
Are you coming out a little bit up on Leo?
Yeah, actually.
I feel that way too. I was like, it's kind of crazy how the last batch of this is like the best episodes we've had in a long time.
It's just, like, shockingly good.
And also addresses a lot of our complaints.
The Red Assassin that brings death is one of the best episodes of this show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is just true. That is just true. Okay. Episode 10. The Red Assassin that brings death. Featuring saucer creature Nova. Commander Black.
This sounds like
summons...
a fanfic you wrote when you were like 10 about yourself.
I am the Red Assassin that brings death.
Yeah.
I mean, like assassins were like my go-to like tabletop role-playing characters for a bit. That is true. I did like the sort of like the sad assassin. I will admit to being emo.
I want to learn about the assassins more.
Assassins.
Just independently.
Yeah, I know a game company that could help you out with that.
I gotta fuck kill you.
Nothing is true. Everything is permitted.
Commander Black summons Black Star Unit 10. I think. This one's Nova. Anyway, Toru's having a really bad time because there's a parent-teacher day tomorrow, and he hasn't got any parents to go with him. He draws a red figure with black holes for eyes and claims it's a self-portrait, which gets him scolded by the alarmed Miyama sisters. He runs off into the night and wishes on a shooting star to have his mother, his father, and Kaoru back. Momoko can get fucked, she wasn't his real mum anyway. He is granted no such wish. He does encounter a Teru Bozu, which is a little handmade doll you hang outside as kind of a good luck charm, specifically for keeping rain away. Toru takes this Teru Bozu with him and has an idea. If a Teru Bozu can make rain go away, surely it can do the opposite too. He asks the Teru Bozu to summon a huge storm tomorrow so the parent-teacher meetings are cancelled, and then he hangs it up. Gen arrives and tells Toru that it's okay, he'll come to the meeting tomorrow. This cheers Toru up and they head home. Also, the Teru Bozu turns red and wraps red chains around a drunk man and sends him off to attack other people. Just a little addendum to the night. The next day, Gen sees news of people wearing red chains and attacking others and realizes he has to do something. Toru is extremely upset because, Gen promised. And he runs off, even as the mother of the Miyama family says that she'll go in Gen's place. Toru sits in the park as Ayumi begs him to come with her to school. They're going to be late, but he says nothing. Eventually she leaves, yelling, "Don't blame me." Toru finds the Teru Bozu and is like, "Well, some storm this is." bright sunny day, nothing cancelled, useless doll, I'm gonna cut off your head. From a song earlier, I'm fairly sure cutting off their head when they don't work is like a thing, and so this is not just Toru losing it. Anyway, the doll evades Toru's scissors and then latches onto his shoulder. Toru starts behaving like the doll is talking to him, saying things like, I can see my parents and Kaoru, as he walks through town. The doll attacks random passers-by, setting off further attacks. Eventually some cops attempt to shoot Toru, but again, and the Miyamas get in the way. Mrs. Miyama stands up to Toru and tells him she thinks of herself as his mother. This is enough to break the hold the doll has on Toru, and Gen pulls it loose. At this point, the doll turns into the giant saucer creature Nova. Gen turns into Leo and fights Nova. Nova creates Scarlet Rain, the storm Toru wished for, but Leo eventually destroys Nova, and the Red Storm passes. Toru wakes up with the mother of the Miyamas, and he apologizes for making her worry. Later, as heavy rain falls outside, Toru and Ayumi make Terutoru Bozus to hang out. The next day, the sun is out, and the whole family goes out for a day trip. The end.
Why wasn't the rest of the show like this for the past 3 weeks?
Yeah.
I have to assume that at this stage it's like, well, we're on our way out, so all oversight is gone, and we can just do what the fuck we want.
Yeah, it feels like one of those things where it's like, we'd probably be higher on the episodes that came after if we had this episode earlier. Even if also having it later does make it really impactful.
I think on reflection, with this in the batch, I am higher on the rest of this post retool episodes. I'm like thinking back and going like, well, I mean, that was a good episode. I'm like, now that there's not this like this unspoken thing hanging over all of it, and it has actually been like, it's actually been introduced into the plot.
My one reservation, because I like the scene a lot where like his stepmother essentially and like new like stepsister, like new family or whatever, talk him down, or like, no, like, we are here for you, that sort of thing. I think that scene is great and works a lot, but I do have the one sort of like, I guess like kind of voice in the back of my head that's like, I kind of wish that maybe, not necessarily to this degree, but some of the episodes preceding this one had a little bit more with him and the rest of the family in it, so that felt a little more like a payoff. Because right now, like, it feels pretty contained within the episode, and I think it works fine just within that context. But I do kind of wish that maybe a little bit more of that character work was being done the last couple weeks here.
Yeah, and I will say, like, I guess to that point, I will say it does mostly feel like serialization is something experimenting with still. Like, it's, even if when the past matters, it's still largely a episodic show, and they're still they're still stuck in the old ways, I guess, even as they're doing more interesting things.
Though also, I guess we don't know what episode or what order these episodes were made in necessarily.
Yeah, that's true.
Or how they decided to organize them for the actual broadcast.
I mean, like I've been saying, I've been watching original Star Trek, and it's really funny getting to like episode 10 or whatever and being like, oh, this is the first episode of the show. This is so clearly the episode introducing who James T. Kirk is.
And we had that with Ultra Q.
Yes, we did. But it was like immediately obvious to us what episode was clearly the first episode.
Yeah, but it was also like, we don't necessarily. Funny enough, that's also true of The Prisoner. But
lol.
It's like, because they are doing like they're not doing in batches like they did in the 60s. They are doing a more rolling schedule, so there's probably a degree to which it is more linear. But also, it's hard to know if there is some shuffling around, and we just, it's hard to say. He is very cathartic to just have, like, Toru say, like, all of his family members, missing them all, finally.
Yeah. I think to be, yeah. Oh, yeah. on the subject of timing before we move on, I think having this come in like towards the end of this batch is maybe for the best, because it creates the kind of like the sense of this being like a breaking point, like he's like something he's been sitting on for a while.
Mm-hmm.
That's an alternative version. Yeah, like it's either us as viewers, like we struggled with like, yeah, these are technically good episodes that are stymied by like the weirdness of it being like a reset, and like maybe the transition would be easier who had something like this earlier where like they actually dealt with a thing. But on the alternative, like the idea that instead the having it later makes it like a dam breaking after like basically it definitely unintentionally, but it does kind of frame like the sudden switch to new happy domestic status quo as like a front that Toru is putting up, which you sometimes see like a bit of signs of here and there in some of the early episodes, but like
Anyway, yes, I interrupted. You were in the middle of saying something about his family.
Me?
I was just saying,
guys, it's just good when like having Toru just say, I miss them, and I hate that they're gone, and saying the names specifically. Because it's also like, you know, it's a thing where they kind of like lean on it, but they don't say it explicitly in the previous episodes, and here they just like say it flat out. They actually recognize the characters.
I love his sort of like the fact that he's fucked up about this makes everyone else miserable as well. Because like no, you know, it's like he's sat there doing his like art project and like drawing his like it's a self-portrait, and it's like clearly the most miserable thing ever, and Izumi being like, I don't think this is like, I think you should take this seriously. And like that kind of blowing up, I think is a really good scene.
I've had a shockingly close real life experience to this, where around the time shit was going to real bad so I took a like leadership class in high school that was ostensibly kind of like a bullshit, like, we do fun things around the school, and like the teacher does her best to allow us to get away with it.
A leadership class?
Yes, it was literally like, I think the very first thing we did is, all right, we're all gonna go out to the parking lot and do trust fall exercises. Guess who the only person in the class who fell was?
Oh my god!
They actually, I was the first. I volunteered to go first, and then the group caught me, and then because high schoolers are very smart, don't realize, oh, you have to like put them down gently afterwards.
They just
so everyone
you?
Just let go of me, and I dropped. But we did for one day in there for some reason, and this was around the time some like real like traumatic shit was happening to me in my life. The teacher did this weird like bullshit psych thing where we all had to like draw a tree, and I don't know, like, whatever reason, I just drew like kind of like a dead tree in winter, and then as she read off all of the things, it was like, oh, like a sense of loss and like doubt and like all this other shit, and I was just like, oh fuck, this is kind of awkward. And then I think she kind of noticed afterwards, because she noticed what I had drawn. She's like, oh, you need anything to talk about? I'm always here. And I was like, oh, thanks. And I was like, oh, fuck. I feel like I got called out by this obviously bullshit psych, like, weird exercise thing. Being 15 is fun.
Yeah, it is. Listener, disclaimer. No, it isn't. Never is.
It's not.
Don't let anime fool you.
No. I also had reservations and weird feelings about not having parental figures around for showing up to activities where everyone else's kids' parents were going to be there. It's a fucking weird time.
Yeah, I think it's good. It's rhyming with the beginning of the show too, in a way, because we have the one episode we talked about that we liked early on about Toru's grief with his dad, where Gen also promises to like hang out with him and like be a surrogate older brother /
and then he fails. Yeah,
and he fails, and like the first time it's because Mac is there as like an excuse, like he's a member of the team, and this one he's just like a guy. And like, obviously he's Ultraman, but also like he is just a guy in this case, and like he doesn't even have like the veneer of like, oh, I'm in the anti-kaiju police to like serve as a rationale.
You raise that episode, and that I think that's a good episode to raise because his behavior in this episode, I think, is a very direct reflection of his behavior in that episode, which is when Toru is sad, he shuts up and he doesn't fucking talk to anyone and he doesn't want anyone's help. And that is consistent across these two episodes, and it causes like some of the same problems for like the people around him. And I think it's interesting that he kind of learnt a lesson in that episode where he was kind of like learning, is like, oh, my sister is like really upset about our dad being dead too, and she's doing her best to like try to look out for me, and I haven't thought about her once. And now here, him being like, well, I don't have anyone to think about.
Yeah, because now she's there too.
Yeah, there's nothing fucking left. And then at the end, kind of the assertion of, no, there is. We're your family. I, Mrs. Miyama, I am your Rumiko.
Yeah. And she is also nice that in this show she does like, she has agency in adopting them into her family in a way that Rumiko is just kind of saddled with Jiro.
Self-Rumiko'd. Rumiko's
and also,
finding out about
adult.
this episode and being like, the fuck?
Yeah,
she is an adult.
She's an adult. She has a job. She already has kids, and she's like, listen, it's one more food at the table. It's fine. So, unlike Rumiko, who's just like in her 20s and just like, well, now I guess I'm a mom now.
Yeah. God. It sucks being Rumiko so much. Especially because that kid hates women.
Yeah. Toru at least is good with women. Also, just like relating to Jiro, I think it's like reminded me of like again the Bolton Jr. episode, where in that episode you have that's the one dealing with like, Jiro's grieving over specifically Ken, but also his Aki. I feel so bad for not entirely remembering her name. I know it's Aki something. Akiko, I guess. Yeah,
it's okay. It's a lot of characters.
But yeah,
there's a lot.
Ken's death, his brother's death, and we have Hideki Go, trying to like forcefully assert himself as like, I'm your new brother now. Mm-hmm. Go voice, Ibuki is my dad. She's being like, trying to assert this in a way where like Jiro wasn't ready for, and even though he gets kind of there by the episode, he's still like, they kind of do decide like, no, we don't need to say Oni-chan or Aniki or anything like that. We can just like call each other by our names, even if like the relationship is there and that kind of thing. I think it's interesting in this episode as well. Toru still he accepts the Miyamas as his family, but he still like doesn't call Sakiko his mom. He still says like Obasan. Just like still calling her like auntie or stuff like that. So he isn't like, he's still like, oh yeah, these are my family, but he isn't like committing to like, oh, she's my new mom necessarily, or like even if you know what I'm saying, right? Like just this.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting.
I think I like Toru. I like
he is one of the better Ultra children.
Ultra, yeah.
Had.
I mean, listen, the competition is like
the competition is
brother.
The competition is loads of kids who fucking suck, and then Jiro, the most incredible child ever put to film, who one day said out loud, "Man, women, right?" And his older brother, that you presume he's learning this from, goes, "What?"
What about Dan, the sixth Ultra brother?
He died. He was murdered. We don't do it. Murdered on a ski slope. Never returned. Tsuburaya found out they were gonna get their own 6th Ultra Brother, and they were like, "We gotta get rid of this kid, man."
Too many children sacrificed to the ski slopes.
Yeah.
Nova.
I like Nova. I love the big red storm.
It looks so good.
Yeah, they are like, the show is ending. We're gonna get like the rest of the money we have saved up for this last 3 episodes.
They did in the last episode. They do a flashback to like some significant episodes from the show, and I'm like, oh yeah, they used to be throwing money at this shit.
Yeah, like I was impressed with this because I was like, they have so little to work with, and they still make it look so cool in a way that I'm like, shit, I wish a little bit more of this energy was in some of the other like kind of action set pieces from like I'd say even like the second half of the show. Because I was gearing up to feel how I usually feel, which was like, okay, well, we had the really cool dramatic moment, now is whatever, he's gonna beat up the big red puppet thing, and then like
the rainstorm comes.
And it's like, oh shit, this looks incredible.
It's like streets flowing with like red liquid is the visuals happening here. It's fucking cool.
I think just like the slow deterioration of like Tsuburaya over the course of like the early 70s has been, we kind of like almost forgot that this is the company of like fucking Eiji Tsuburaya, which made twice in a row the most extensive Japanese show on TV in the 60s. Yes.
Sometimes they're just like, let's just do our shit. Let's do the thing we're really good at.
also, they've reused that one tsunami they were proud of so much that we kind of forgot how special that tsunami was at the time.
It was a good tsunami. Those were good episodes at the time. I liked those.
They were
kaiju.
so proud of it in the next episode preview. They're like, hey, we spent a lot of money on the tsunami.
Yeah. I just quite like as like an idea for like, because what they're doing here is when they launch this kaiju, it's like, oh, this is like an octopus themed looking thing, because they're usually doing sea monsters for this, but then when they get here they theme it through the little like rain charm things, and I'm like, oh, that's really good, because those are so just like aesthetically compelling. I love them. I love these little dolls.
Yeah.
Oh, they're great. I don't think I've ever seen these before.
Oh, you have?
I have.
There's an episode of Bocce the Rock.
Shit, you're right.
Where they make them and then it rains anyway.
There's also a Pokemon based off of them.
Ooh, that's cool.
Which Pokemon?
I think it's Cast Form. Which makes sense, because Cast Form's a weather themed Pokemon.
Oh yeah, it's this little guy.
This is I don't like this Pokemon's design.
Damn.
Look at his forms.
Oh, it's got multiple forms. Oh, yeah. Okay. It's good.
Because Gen 3 the first with weather?
Yeah, no. Gen 2 added weather, but Gen 3 added on the field. And of course, like the legendaries were all themed around.
I'm sorry, but this base form looks like it has massive breasts.
Oh yeah, that's the joke. Everyone's always commented on this.
Okay. Just so I'm not the only person in the room.
So I should have been like, "What, you freak?"
I was like, everyone sees it, right? Everyone sees it, yeah. Good. What else? Who made this episode?
This episode was made by director Masataka Yamamoto and written by Bunpei Ai.
Well done, Bunpei Ai.
Thank you once again, Bunpei Ai.
Yeah.
Bunpei, he's rising in the estimation. Sometimes, but
I feel like consistently he is the writer I am most excited to see on episodes for the show, of like the regulars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We sadly don't have Kinjo anymore. But,
no, we do not. No longer. Might be at the point that this show aired, no longer with us.
I think it's later in the 70s, but he is like in Okinawa
Okay.
now. So,
Okay.
special director is Yoshiyuki Yoshimura. Nova. This one's funny. We don't know for sure who made it, because both Tetsuo Osawa and Kengo Kime said the other guy made it.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. They're just like, yeah, he did it. No, he did it.
This
It was made by a
sounds to
secret
me
third guy.
like they both participated, but feel like they didn't do enough, so they want to give credit to the
Yeah,
other.
that's probably it. And I'm sure like there's like yeah, that's probably it. And then probably like passing drafts between each other, like
Mm-hmm.
I think I like the drunk guy just getting in a fight with a random terror mostly.
Yeah, just trying to box it like it's a fucking like it's one of those banging the. I've forgotten all terms for everything.
Are you talking about like speed bag, the little boxing thing?
Yeah. There we go. Okay. Yeah, just decided. Yeah, I'm gonna box this thing for no reason, and then getting owned. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
cool.
he's like, hey, you're right. Are you angry? You just drunk like me. I'm dead.
Yep. You're done. You're done.
Yeah, all the shots of like, well, I guess somewhat resigned, but also brainwashed Toru just walking with Nova on his shoulder and just like causing chaos to everyone around him. And then like the police are like, we're gonna shoot this child. It's just like, it's good.
It's good.
Him walking on the train tracks. It's
Mm-hmm.
The staging for it's really good.
Yeah.
Very big fan of this episode.
Yeah. There's definitely. I think this is just one of the best episodes of Leo. Period.
Oh, 100%.
It's the best one of
probably not
Leo,
controversial.
certainly.
Oh yes.
Leo, there's some early bangers.
Oh yeah.
Do we have anything more to say about this episode, or do we want to move on?
Yeah, let me just see. Is there anything else? Because I like,
No, I just
Nice.
I have this weird feeling with a lot of Ultraman stuff now, where like I feel like what I want Ultraman to be sometimes it feels like the show that Ultraman is, these bigger character moments or like the human drama gets left to these episodes that I feel like when they're making them, they know like, oh, this is going to be a little more special, or like, I don't know how to phrase this exactly, but like, I wish sometimes the show was just this more and not
yeah.
necessarily
want
always
some of
leaving
that-
a lot of this to be bigger pop-off moments, if that makes sense.
You want some of that, like, soap opera energy. You want a little bit
Yeah.
of, like,
Let me tell you
Oh.
why I like Kamen Rider Fights.
Okay, well, that's good to know. I mean, I know this is like his thing because that was kind of
Yes.
his approach with his
Jetman.
that Sentai with Jetman, yeah. But yeah, I've been thinking about because I've been I kind of slowed down crazy on Assassin's Quest because it's like this it's like instead of a Royal Assassin was all in like one place, and then Assassin's Quest is this big journey.
Oh, Final Fantasy
and-
Rebirth.
And so there's been like a lot less there's been a lot less just like characters hanging out interacting, like it's much less character drama. Like there is a lot, but it's different, and then you get I've been kind of slowing down on it, and it's been kind of like this is good, but like it's not the first two. It's not quite there. Because I've been craving that soap opera energy from the first two books. So yeah, this kind of like when you've got an episodic show like this, and it's like you've got a cast of characters here, and most of the time they're not. Their life isn't relevant. Like they'll be involved in the plot of the episode, but the plot will not be about their life.
No.
In a way that I think is, kind of kind of leaves a lot of characters to the wayside as kind of like bit parts in a different in the show, which is a shame.
Yeah,
and it's frustrating to me because it feels like they figured it out with what they wanted Return to be, and then they've like kind of backed away from it. I feel like with each successor.
Return had this,
because Ace became like a superhero franchise.
Yeah,
and some of it is just because like in the middle of Ace, we have like basically the market pivots to Toku as general audience, from Toku as general audience to Toku is for children.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why Taro like was the hit was because all the like the older people who used to watch Toku were like moving on to like anime and manga basically.
Mm-hmm. And anime manga, obviously for grown-ups.
True.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. Well, do we want to talk about the next episode?
Yeah.
Okay, we can talk about episode.
Cut to
11.
all of us dismembered in a forest.
Yep. Episode 11, Leo's Life, The King's Miracle, featuring Bunyo. Commander Black is like, Black Star, for fuck's sake, send a saucer creature that can kill Ultraman Leo. And Black Star sends a weird motherfucker called Bunyo, who appears in the form of a human man in a green outfit. This guy's a little goofy, and he tells Commander Black that though he may not be strong, he's smart enough to kill Leo. He'll trick him, just wait and see. Bunyo tracks down Leo using his antennae, and then waits by the road pretending to be injured. Gen appears, spots Bunyo, and goes, "You're an alien!" And Bunyo lunges at him like, "You figured me out!" They fight, and Gen obviously has the upper hand, but Bunyo eventually escapes. At the Miyama home, the older sister Izumi wonders if maybe Black Star is attacking Earth because Leo is here. Maybe we'd be safer without Leo. Now, for the next 10 to 15 minutes, I want you to imagine that every other line that Toru says is blaming Izumi for everything bad that happens because she said maybe Earth would be safer without Leo. Mrs. Miyama is called away to the hospital on urgent business, but when she gets there, she finds no one but Bunyo, who grabs her and ties her up. Back at home, the Miyamas the Miyama's TV turns itself on, revealing a live feed of her Let me try this sentence again. Back at home, the Miyama's TV turns itself on, revealing a live feed of their mother tied to an operating table with Bunyo standing over her. He says, "Come get her if you can." It has to be a trap, but Gen must go. Gen finds Bunyo and Mrs. Miyama, and Bunyo goes, "Aha! It's Leo! Surrender and let me tie you up with uncuttable space beam rope, or else I kill the lady." And Gen's like, "Well, I guess I surrender." Bunyo ties him up and drags him away while the rest of the family frees Mrs. Miyama. They do see Bunyo dragging Gen away, though. Back home, they all wonder if maybe Gen's Leo. But that can't be possible. Meanwhile, Gen is getting murdered by Commander Black and Bunyo. He transforms, but he can't grow big because of the super space, uncuttable space beam rope around his hands, his wrists. They freeze Leo, tie him down, and cut him up into pieces using a big saw, and they return the pieces to Earth. Meanwhile, Toru receives a psychic message from Leo to tell him he's sorry, he didn't want to bring any more pain to his new home, but I want you to bury my pieces on Earth. Toru is distraught, but obeys the request, finding Leo's pieces and burying them in one grave.
Toru has it so fucking rough.
Toru... It ain't going great for Toru. Meanwhile, Commander Black announces Leo's death to the Earth and declares that Earth is now defenseless against Black Star. Bunyo turns into a giant kaiju and starts attacking Tokyo, but Ultraman King appears to tell Leo that so long as one person on Earth wishes for him to help, he cannot die. King hits him with a beam that puts Leo's pieces back together and resurrects him. Leo fights Bunyo and wins, and then Gen returns to the Miyama family, and Mrs. Miyama is like, hang on a minute. Commander Black is super pissed and promises he won't give up. The end. It sucks to be Toru.
Yeah, he's like, I was just finished grieving over my dead family, and now I have to bury the corpse of Ultraman. dismembered corpse.
I have to bury Superman. I was unaware that Superman knew me like that.
Also completely unrelated, but I don't have my circuit brother around, which is definitely unrelated, and I don't know where he is.
Unrelated. I'm not going to think about it.
I don't know how intentional this was, but when they cut to the Ultraman parts that are in the grave, it's kind of just like he tossed them in there, which is the most extremely I'm a kid who has to bury a dead guy thing to do. And I fucking lost it. It was so good.
It's good. It's great.
Like his leg is just kind of sticking out at a weird
Yeah,
angle.
he kind of threw the leg in, and like one end of it stuck in the dirt, and he's like, I'm not going in there.
You can tell he was looking away. He was just like, "Ew, I don't want to touch this."
I'm not sorting that out. This is icky. This is Darth icky.
I just had this thought, and I do have to ask it now. When we started this podcast, could you have ever anticipated we get an episode where a child buries the dismembered body of an Ultraman?
No, I did not.
I was fully expecting the death and then is revived, which we've had this at least once before, surely, right?
I mean, because it's Jesus.
Yeah. The dismemberment,
it's Jesus every time.
It looks like a fucking Unsolved Mysteries reenactment. They shoot the body parts through the brush, which adds a layer of weird visceral grounded reality to it. It's framed like a crime show, them actually finding a body. It's ridiculous. It steps out of the normal genre and has way more impact as a result. It's really good.
Such an incredible energy to Ayumi arriving and saying, "What are you doing?" And Toru says, "I'm burying the parts of Ultraman Leo because he's dead." And Ayumi's like, "Huh?" Is this real? What? Again, just says it so matter of fact, and she's like, "Really?" And he's like, "Yeah, man."
There's a degree to which he does sound matter of fact about it because he's just so fucking used to probably being disappointed by everything at this point.
Someone needs to. He needs to talk to somebody. He needs a little more than a mother. He needs
this kid is not growing up normal.
This kid is not growing up normal, bro.
He needs therapy.
This kid is not going to be okay. I feel, when we got an email a while ago that came attached with a Tumblr post, which a lot of it was still an exaggeration of what Ultraman Leo is. But the part that was and then Toru goes fucking insane, and I was like, that has not happened. That has happened. Happened.
It's right at the end.
It's right at the end. Toru loses his fucking mind. And to be honest, fair play. I would go crazy in this scenario. I would be Ayumi just encountering getting a little too close to the sun of what Toru goes through on a week-to-week basis. It's so good.
Yeah. Also, just the entire the scene where they cut him up, and he slowly freezes.
The payoff on Commander Black has been fantastic because he has been getting increasingly really, really fucking mad. Because every week he's like, haha, I've got you now, Leo, and then he doesn't, and he's like, I'll get you next week, and every week he's been getting a little more manic about it. And then this week, a guy shows up, and he's like, who the fuck are you? You look like shit. And he's like, oh, I'll get Leo for you, and then he actually does. And his glee at cutting up Leo with this big saw is really good.
I didn't think I could do it.
I'm the Joker, baby.
He has that vibe. He has that vibe. I kind of had a similar thing where I still wish we maybe got a little bit more of Commander Black, but I do like the increasing dissatisfaction leading up to, wait, this is the fucking guy who did it? Of all the guys I said, this fucking weird clown man?
I love that. Just like they made a really funny guy, and then he just did it.
I think the degree to which this is just for when he's in his normal form, him just being a dude in like a weird ass suit, I think actually adds a lot because you do get to see his face and how that adds to the performance.
Yeah.
In a way that a lot of the times I'm like, nah, I wish it looked more like an alien. But this one, I think that it actually ends up working in its favor. And yeah, I'm still on team. Man, I wish more of our villains had personalities because when they do it, it's fucking cool. It's like Mephiles. It's like this guy. It's always good.
The like extreme budget horror surgeon bit in the middle of this
episode
where like the live feed comes through the TV to like
he's like, I would like to play a game.
The mother tied down. He's like, I would like to play a game. He's like, it's fantastic. Like this episode is absolutely like on like going like sicko mode on like we're just pulling out all the stops on our like low budget horror shit. It's really good.
The rumor Leo dies feels like a warehouse. They just like were it was like the block over, and they're like, we could probably rent that out.
Yeah, they literally just took him to like a walk-in freezer and just like
yeah.
I was thinking of like the freezer in Blade Runner during this scene happened.
I was thinking like the butler from Tomb Raider 2.
Commander Black, you made my eyes.
Oh my god. Yeah. I really like. I just like this episode. I think it's fun. It's got a lot of energy. And Ultraman King showed up and I didn't do a jerk off motion. So they're doing something right.
Yeah.
Yeah. His redemption arc.
His redemption. It's not his redemption arc. It's just he only showed up a little bit and it didn't bother me.
I mean, he was Santa. Wait, no, that's different guy.
That's Father of Ultra. That's
Jesus
Father
Christ.
of Ultra. You've been classic
We
mistake.
have to.
It is Father of Ultra that is both Santa and fucking Hokuto's wife.
Yeah.
And he's also the first Keyblade Master.
He's also the first Keyblade Master.
Wait, the king didn't even blow up the planet. It was the Father of
Ultra. It was
Father
of Ultra. You know what? I'm coming around on Father of Ultra. This guy's fucking sick.
Brad, you did do the sorter, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I internalized until... I mean, I did probably at the time when Ultraman King first showed up, but I think over time, my memory of just like, oh yeah, Patriarch Ultraman.
I mean, to be fair, he is kind of like filling the same role. And they like, was it the trivia? Did I say in the trivia that they originally planned to make Father of Ultra be the guy until they just decided to make a new guy?
Yes.
They probably should have just kept it as one guy, if I'm being honest.
Many such cases.
Many such cases. Oh well.
Now, is there an Ultraman Queen?
There's a Mother of Ultra.
There's a Mother of Ultra, but that's not
there is
the Ultraman
not.
Queen.
Oh, I don't know about an
the girl
Ultraman
listening
Queen.
to this.
But yes, so true. Thank you. Who made these
cut to Brad, Arthur Fist meme. No, I'm joking. Who made this? Oh,
yes.
So love him or hate him, he's fucking back in full force. Directed by Eizo Yamagiwa.
Yay!
And then written by Toshiro Ishido.
I see.
It's gonna be really funny / awkward if we get a Yamagiwa episode after 1995.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if...
He might have moved on to other things by then.
Yeah.
Which is probably for the best, to be frank.
That might have been where he was in full force. I'm a big city lawyer. Well, he wasn't actually involved legally. He just was an opinion guy that was very influential.
Lots of people are opinion guys.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Yamagiwa. You did a good job this time. Go easy on the cult thing. I know you won't. Mel, your stuff.
Social architecture is Nobuo Ujima. Bunyo is designed by Tetsuo Osawa. And the Japanese wiki notes that, hey, this guy's got 4 designs technically, which is kind of wild to think about.
4?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's got the saucer. He's got his human form. He's got his human-sized alien form, and he's got his kaiju form.
Okay. The human-sized alien form and the kaiju, aren't they basically the same?
They're like a little different. Like, I can see the
okay.
difference. Yeah.
Okay.
That is still one of the weirder things about this show. Because, human-sized North Satan doesn't look anything like big-sized North Satan. But yeah, that's me.
Wow.
Well.
What else do we have to say about this episode? Do we have anything?
Yeah, it just goes hard for, despite having the goofiest guy around.
This could have been the last episode almost, in a way. Like, I mean, obviously you don't have the finality of, dealing with, Commander Black, but, it has the vibe of, oh, this could have been the last one.
Yeah, I feel that.
Mm-hmm. Well, in which case, we can move on to episode 12, aka episode 51, Farewell, Leo, setting off for the sun.
The finale.
Yeah, featuring Black End and Ultra 7. I think that's... did Ultra 7 feature? A bit strong.
Jingling keys.
Jingling keys. Black End departs from Black Star towards Earth. Meanwhile, the Miyamas go to visit the grave of the man... What? Oh, okay. Sorry, I forgot my bit. So, this is the return of a classic Ultraman bit. I checked the Ultra Wiki, and they had a full summary for the episode.
Oh.
Let's go!
I have not read this.
Okay.
I checked, the last line to make sure that it,
ends?
It, ends. Otherwise, I checked nothing. Which is why I got 2 sentences in. I got, 2 sentences in and went, I didn't write this. What's this? Black End. So we're gonna rate this. We're gonna rate this summary at the end of this. Black End departs from Black Star towards Earth. Meanwhile, the Miyamas go to visit the grave of the man of the family. Toru quietly mourns Momoko and Kaoru when an earthquake strikes. The incident is forgotten when Toru asks Gen to take him to the beach because Momoko would take him and Kaoru there. They are interrupted on their trip when another earthquake strikes and Black End rises from the ground. It calls Leo's name as it looks around. Gen tells Toru to run and the boy refuses, believing Leo will always come to save him. Conflicted, Gen does not transform. And Black Directive calls the monster back. Who is Black Directive? Is that Commander Black?
I'm assuming.
Oh my god, Black Directive. Izumi continues to suspect the Saucer Beasts are after Leo. Ayumi and Sakiko... Okay, the mother's name is Sakiko. Sakiko defend him. That night, Gen wonders if he should leave Earth. Seven appears to Gen's dream and tells him that he must decide whether or not to live alongside the humans. Seven tells Leo that to win, he needs to tell the humans he is an alien. Toru and Gen train, but Toru falls behind. Gen tells him to go to the beach to be strong in a place by himself. I don't know what that means. They do not notice Black Directive sneaking up behind them. Black End rises from the ground. Seeing the saucer monster, Ayumi wonders whether Gen and Toru are okay. She gets the other students and they go to search for them. Meanwhile, the monster pursues the two. Gen reveals his identity to Toru and transforms. While Leo is battling Black End, Black Directive sees Toru on the ground and captures him, holding a knife to his throat. Distracted, Leo is beaten down and his color timer starts to blinking, sick, and he gets flashbacks. and also hears Seven encouraging him to fight. Meanwhile, Ayumi leads her band of children to where Black Directive is holding Toru captive. Leads her band of children. They attack him, led by her. She bites his hand and Toru grabs the ball and they throw it to Leo. The ball has not been mentioned until this point, so I was like, what is this? Listener, they're referring to the glass ball that Black Directive, aka Commander Black, carries around with him at all times.
There's some orb pondering going on.
Yeah, he looks inside and sees the opening
pondering.
to Return of Ultraman.
Yeah. She bites his hand and Toru grabs the ball and throws it to Leo. Black Directive collapses. Leo throws the ball into Black End and it dies. The children... I don't know why that one's so funny.
I don't either. Something about just... I think it was honestly more your delivery of "and it dies."
And it dies. The children back off in horror as Black Directive melts in front of them. Black Star appears in the sky, hurtling towards Earth, and Leo destroys it. Later, Gen bids farewell to the children, Toru, and the Miyamas. Sakiko tells him that if he was an alien, they wouldn't care because they all love him. Gen takes his Leo ring off his hand, then says that he wants to see the world before setting off. Toru runs after him and waves goodbye as Gen's boat drives towards the sunset, drives towards the sunset, hoping to explore Earth from the perspective of a human. Sails. He's sailing.
Yes.
He's not driving. He's sailing. So yes, that was a much better summary than the one that exists for the original Ultraman finale.
Yeah.
However, there are a couple of choice moments in here.
Yes.
I think maybe the summary should mention the ball before Toru grabs Commander Black's ball.
Yeah.
You just gotta make it clear what's happening. All in all, very good job.
Yeah.
How we feel about the finale of Ultraman Leo?
I like it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, I think in the first half I was a bit trepidatious because I felt like here we go again with all of humanity has to fight for themselves. Ugh. And then I think it actually was done a way that's better than I anticipated.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Because it's like, yeah, Toru's like, I'll just wait for Leo to show up, and Gen is like, I can't fucking transform. But there is sort of the dilemma of like, one, Ghost 7 ? In his dream says, well, you have to trust the humans if you want to live among them. And two, we have a mob of children basically killing Commander Black and taking care of him.
It's really
fucking
good.
rules.
Get him.
It's just like, you have like, Gen is like, after he transforms and like she reveals to Toru, he has the one fight going on, but he's hamstrung with the fact like, Commander Black is harassing Toru, but also the other kids are coming to save him, but also Toru takes action by biting his hand, and that kind of like helps. So like Toru isn't passive either, even as the other like kids are coming to help him out. And it's good. Like, it feels like, it's building on like what we got with like Taro, where it's not the same, because like in Taro wins by like giving up being Ultraman and then doing crazy parkour, but like, in this one we have like a kind of like a two-pronged battle happening with like, the human level with Toru and the kids, and then Gen is still doing Leo stuff, and it is like decisively the kids who help Leo win.
I do think they're getting better with endings. Like, well, okay, like maybe, I don't know, Aces I was not a fan of.
Don't you know, everyone really loves that ending.
Everyone really loves that ending, I guess.
Everyone really loves when Hokuto is like, please don't lynch this alien. Actually, I'm going to kill him anyway. And then it's like, actually, I'm ice, which means I'm dead now.
Yeah, but even, like, Return, I feel like I was maybe cooler on the ending of Return. Like, at the very least in terms of, like, the actual, like, battle part. I like the final sequence of it, like, a fair bit, even if the conclusion of him abandoning the child to Rumiko is fucking absurd. But like I feel like they've kind of crystallized like a form of ending conflict that I think they somehow managed to make it, at least for Taro and this, to feel fresh while still kind of continuing a legacy of how other shows have ended that they've done. Which I think is cool, and that's not like an easy thing to do, so I do want to give him credit for that. I have one reservation with this episode, and it's something that we've touched on already before. I just think that the grappling with the identity thing and leaving that as one of the big final notes is leaving a lot of interesting room on the table. If, like, you could have just done that episodes ago, and I think it would have given you a lot more interesting stuff to work with in the show you were making itself, instead of just making it like the last big point. So I hope they move past that at some point eventually. I
think it'll be interesting to just get that, because it'll be nice to mix it up where, like, if they reveal us earlier or something like that. Because the funny thing is, somehow, because of how skipping the queue has worked, the two Ultramans we've seen for skipping the queue also don't have, like, they also, like, wait until, like, the end, if at all.
I'm going to be honest. I have just figured this is going to, like, this is a series tradition, always going to be the case thing, was my impression watching this episode, of like, oh, maybe they just always wait until the final episode, is because I haven't really seen anything that really challenges that, so I'm assuming this is a long franchise. At some point, like halfway through a show, either someone's gonna figure out, or like that can of worms will open up somehow, and I'm curious to see what they do with it, because that is one of the superhero plots to do, right? So
I know of one thing that doesn't do this.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
I will keep my mouth shut, because I've seen shows.
Fucking Ultraman a ghoul, I say, picking a random name I know that I haven't seen yet out of my head.
Maybe if they finally made a new gen rehash of Ultraman Gaia, they would get we would get this.
Who could say?
Someday.
Maybe someday. Thank you for email.
I quite like this episode.
Yeah.
I basically haven't spoken. I'm gonna confess to you right now. I'm doing the sorta live.
Hey, guess what? I wasn't talking too much during that first episode, partially because I was also doing the sorting.
You fucking lied to me when I asked you if you did the sorter.
Well, I did do the sorter by that point.
I got everything done on Friday, and I was like, I'm done. I've got a completely free weekend until the podcast. I don't have to think about it at all. And then you said sorter, and I was like, I'm a failure.
In that case, Father Ultra should have been very clear in your memory.
I mean, so here's the thing, though, but, like, you only see 2 images at a time, so every time I saw Father of Ultra and Ultraman King, I think my brain just went like, oh yeah, that's that guy.
I hope people like my image of choice for Father Ultra this time.
I do like your image of choice. Every time, let me tell you, he's going really high up the rankings right now, just on the strength of it being the image of him rolling up with the...
I don't know where the fuck he is on my list. Oh, there he is. Oh, he's like almost halfway. Somehow, I feel like I need to consult my other lists. I feel like Ultra Beings and related, like, the protagonist and related Ultra Beings almost always end up exactly halfway on my list as, like, a weird boundary halfway.
Well, it's because a lot of them are good, but also it's like, yeah, but they were in the last one, so, like, come on.
Wait, I think
they're not getting full credit.
Yeah, as cool as the protagonist design is often, it's not gonna outbeat, like, the really cool
monster
designs. And meanwhile, they're obviously gonna go over, like, the most wet blanket kaiju designs. so
I also think there's a point where, like, after you get deep in, like, after, like, 10 weeks of watching, like, you just kind of get used to the design in a way where you're not thinking about if it looks cool or not anymore, just because it's like, it's that.
Like, the novelty wears off, even if it's still fundamentally a cool design in isolation.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Ultra 7. Where, like, sometimes I need to remind myself, like, oh, Ultra 7 looks really fucking cool.
Yeah.
Just because you see him all the
does.
time. So...
So yeah, this episode's pretty good. I'm a fan. I love the kids ganging up on Commander Black. I love him melting into the fucking ground. I think it's sick.
I love bubbles.
I love when they throw the ball to Ultraman Leo and it turns into like the biggest bubble you've ever seen. Because like they throw this ball that's like the size of their hand, and then it's like the size of Leo's hand when it lands next to it, and it's like,
don't worry about
it. I'm just not even gonna think. I'm not gonna say anything. This is.
It'd be funny if he just like picked up a marble and threw it.
Yeah. I found the Toru content in this episode was like they were doing the thing of like, oh, you know, you remember the Geronimo episode?
Yeah, the classic.
Yeah,
it's on our skip list.
Yeah, it's on a. It shouldn't be, but you know, here we are.
Pigmon.
I would not say Pigmon dying is one of the most fundamental. I will remember that until the day I die, until the day I'm crushed by a giant monster.
It's so good. It's so good. It just flattened instantly. No mercy.
And also the noise he makes as he jumps around before getting killed.
Yeah.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Did that episode not fucking start with them finding him in like a fucking department store?
He's just sleeping in a department store, and they bring him into their place to interview.
And then they put him in like the sound booth and record him.
Oh my god. Maybe sometimes regular Ultraman is better than we remember.
Vast swathes of that episode are fantastic. And then the racist Kaiju shows
Here's the
up.
thing. I've been thinking of like how regular Ultraman is raised in Red's esteem, not because of necessarily a reappraisal of the mid episodes, but instead just because of how mid some of all the other stuff has been since.
I mean, it's just kind of, you know, it's like there's been some mid since, and you know, the episodes that I really like of Ultraman really stand out, and I'm just like, oh, man.
And you don't got to think about, oh no, it's the green plant guy, and we're gonna fight him in the city square.
Yeah, it's like a lot of the show is like
that fight's all right.
Yeah.
That one's all right because it does the high noon thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. I don't even remember the middle. Oh yeah, the Ragon one where they just pulled out a Ragon for no reason.
Oh yeah, the Ragon one's shit.
Well, the main plant one was the one where like the guy was like a googly-eyed plant guy who was wearing a suit and he comes out of the closet. Oh
yeah, the episode where the googly-eyed plant guy got out of the closet, and for some reason we were like, oh, this sucks.
You know what?
I love the image of the googly-eyed plant guy, but I do remember that episode not being good, which is a shame.
But also there was like, yeah, we suddenly have like an intercivilizational war suddenly, but it ends really quickly.
Yes, you know, I've just the Ultraman the original Ultraman is a mystery. Somehow its best episodes remain kind of the best episodes of Ultraman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we are. That's just how it goes.
It's a show of contrast.
It's a show of contrasts.
Much like this show.
But anyway, that was a crazy tangent where I was like, this episode, we're doing that Geronimo episode stuff where we have got, suddenly this, like, Toru's like, Leo will always save me. And Gen's like, oh no. No, he won't. That's not true.
I've imparted a bad lesson.
That's not true. I have to go sometimes. I think the way that he imparts the lesson
like, Gen may always may let me down sometimes, so at least Leo was back.
Yeah. I think ultimately the way he imparts that lesson is like a complete nothing. I'm completely unimpressed with it, which is a shame.
He's like, go find that island yourself.
Yeah,
which is a lot more normal of a thing a parent could expect a child to do in the 70s than in the year 2025.
But it's also just like they run together and like make it to the beach among the flames, and then Gen's like, "You did it."
I don't think they actually go to that beach. They're just training.
And then he turns to Leo. Yeah, but like in like the flames, they go to somewhere. Yeah. Like when they're under attack, they go there, and then he's like, "You did it." And now I'm going to tell you, I was Leo, and now I'm going to transform and save you.
I mean, I do like that, he does, like, have a point where you're like, they're clearly not in a situation where they're like, he did it, really, because they're still surrounded by flames. But I like that he doesn't go full on, like, be a real man, let's keep going. And he does, like, at a point, he's like, listen, you did a good job.
Yeah, I just think this, like, little attempt at this story about, you know, Toru learning that he has to stand up for himself. I think the way it does it is like with the kids attacking. Yes, it's
executed a lot. If it wasn't for that, the episode would be a lot more hollow. But it's specifically because the kids are the ones who ultimately take out Commander Black that it works in the end.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was gonna say, I feel like a lot of
it's not like. It's not like Arashi just getting a big gun and shooting.
Yeah. I do feel like a lot of what's being said is kind of like what he says to Toru is a little obligatory, maybe, which is maybe not what you want in your last episode, but I think the actual, like, action beats of the episode of the kids helping out made that sit a lot better for me. In a way that I kind of landed on, I think, more on the positive end of it.
Yeah.
I do also agree, though, I was kind of pleasantly surprised how little masculinity was a part of this, like, character work in a way that it has sometimes been a crutch and a default for past shows.
It's fun that, like, at the end, at the finish line, Gen did not reproduce Dan's toxic masculinity training on Toru like we got some early inklings of him maybe doing in the start of the show.
Mm-hmm. True.
Which is definitely, like, feels unintentional because they had to stop making... They just stopped putting Dan's crazy training in the show, and then Dan left the show, but in terms of serendipitous character arcs, I do like that.
I will say, I don't know if I'm a big fan of the Ultra 7 appearance in this episode, if I'm being honest.
I feel neutral. He's just, like, here.
I think that part where... I think that scene very heavily wants us to think, oh yeah, he's still out there, he's still alive. But then also, too, he's like, you need to, like, learn to live amongst the people, and I'm like, well, where the fuck have you been the last 12 weeks?
He's been dead. He'll never come back. Ultra 7's never coming back. That's it. He's dead now. No more Dan Moriboshi.
Yeah.
It feels weird saying it in that order.
Even though that's actually like the English.
To me, he's Moriboshi Dan. I get this way with but like I don't actually know which way round his name is. I don't know what his family name.
His surname is Moriboshi, so.
Okay, there we go. No, I'm weeb moded.
Yeah, even though like
it's like Yoko Taro, where it's like most people.
Is he actually know. Taro Yoko?
Yes, in English.
Oh, okay. Is he Gen Urabuchi or Urabuchi Gen?
It's probably that one I don't know.
He is Urabuchi
Gen feels like a given name.
Yeah, he's Urabuchi Gen. Damn. That's not real to me. I know it's real, but it's not real to me. That's Gen Urabuchi.
Wait, is Gen his surname?
No, his surname is Urabuchi.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. But like I'm simply not saying Urabuchi Gen, unfortunately. That's just not happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think like Ultra 7 showing up here, like, to me feels like a more like dream sequence stuff, rather than like a real Ultra 7 appearance. This is just like
you could definitely read either way as like psychic Dan projection or like there's just like, you know, sometimes you just have a dream and like a person in your life who may no longer be there gives you a message that you yourself know deep down, but you need to sort of like have someone to say it to you.
Is it bad if I don't? I feel like if it wasn't Ultraman, I'd be more keen to read it that way. I
think that's fair. Like we do have in Ultra 7 Dan's captain from space being, don't fucking do it. Yeah, I think like presumably there's probably people at the time who were like, and here is how the lore of how Ultra 7. I just remember the fucking thing about like Qui-Gon Jinn invented the Force Ghost. Fucking.
Oh yeah, you've been learning Star Wars secondhand through a podcast.
Everything I learned about Star Wars secondhand from AMCA, I'm like, I'm glad I don't give a shit about Star Wars because this sounds like the worst thing ever.
It's actually really good. It's also really bad.
Who was the
but
guy?
Everything with Sifo Dyas makes me just want to throw my phone against the wall.
Who is Sifo Dyas? It's a real big mystery. No one's really quite sure. You know what'll really fix this? If I make a new thing half explaining who Sifo Dyas is and what he did. That definitely won't muddy the waters even more.
Which episode? Hold on, I think I landed on was it Ultra? Yes, it was Ultra 7. The episode where was it Furuhashi, like, he gets a vision of his mom at the end?
Yeah, the Alien Kanon episode.
Yeah, where he just like, our read of that is he doesn't get the approval and affirmation he wants from his mother, so he like
he pretends to have
psychologically envisions it for himself.
Yes.
This is I remember that because that's a good episode of Ultra 7.
Yes.
But I do mostly remember it for us accidentally stumbling into this read of the episode where he's like, yeah, I'm gonna go to Hokkaido, I'm gonna go north, and I'm gonna go visit my mother, and we're gonna really talk about it. And then he just flies over Hokkaido and imagines that he had a conversation with her and it went really well. And then he flies home.
Well,
and I'm like,
she also like
same,
didn't
bro.
approve of his job, right? Wasn't that part of it?
Yeah.
Like she tried to trick him into inheriting the farm.
Yeah, maybe
his reaction to that was so good.
Maybe that's what Gen's doing here. He's like, this is what Ultra 7 would have said to me.
Yeah, Dan would have approved of everything. He definitely wouldn't be like hitting me right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who made this episode?
This episode was once again directed by Eizo Yamagiwa and then written by Shigemitsu Taguchi.
Hell yeah.
I guess
Mel.
I guess before I go, can I say that because I got this is the more substantial trivia, as the finale.
Okay.
Do I want to just say the shot of Commander Black showing up behind the two of them they run is one of the coolest shots. It's just like, yeah.
It is simultaneously really cool and imposing, and also kind of funny. He's just menacingly there in the background. They're having a great time, and it's like, oh,
he's just standing there menacingly.
Yeah. But he is not making any effort to blend in. He looks like the most evil motherfucker. It's just this bright sunny day on the beach.
Yeah.
He's got the hat on.
Good.
He's dressed all in black. He's got his special lighting that only ever hits his eyes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm happy that by the end of it, I was like, oh, okay, I do like Commander Black. I wish there was more Commander Black in the show, but
don't you know? He was the boss of Alien Magma and Alien Power.
So true.
Was he? Let me tell you who's not riding high on my sorter. Alien fucking Magma. Where is he? 26. Get fucked. Your design is good, and you're out of the top 20.
He was 21. I just kind of feel like I put... Who was the other one? Barbecue?
Barbaru.
Yeah, he was 24.
Barbaru got higher. Barbaru got higher for me.
The Pretzels is the same to me, I think.
Mm-hmm.
They're making me thirsty.
But...
All right, Mel.
Yeah. Special effects director Nobuo Ujima. Black End, designed by Tetsuo Osawa. Finally, Commander Black, played by Takeshi Obayashi, who had previously done stunt work, which might show in some of his performances, i.e., this guy likes to do flips. And magazine lore I already said as a joke. They kind of have like, Barbaru lost to the Ultra Brothers, so now so you ask him, Commander Black, come clean up my messes for me.
I do like that Black End is like a fun, menacing meatball right at the end here. Good design.
Yeah, it reminds me a bit of like a fucking Jumbo King. Yeah, just in a strict shape, but more of his own.
It doesn't
thing.
necessarily have the shape of what you'd expect the last kaiju to be, right? And I kind of like it because of that.
The last thing we need is a final boss kaiju that's a big dinosaur. Arc. Well, no, wait, no, that was Arc in the movie. Actually, that was mean. Arc actually had like a decent final boss in the show because it was like a person with a personality.
Oh, that's true. They had the big fight.
Yeah.
It went around the Earth.
Yeah, went around the Earth.
And I thought you were the dinosaur person of this podcast. Shaking.
I mean, listen. There's like dinosaurs in like the general, and there's also overexposure to dinosaurs.
Derogatory
in Ultraman. It's like when they were complaining about Groudon on GP a couple weeks back.
I can't. I'm a Groudon fan. I couldn't stand that. It was like, what?
I think Groudon's alright.
Groudon's my boy.
Biamic Kyogre person, fundamentally.
We can't be friends anymore. This podcast's over.
I like the teabag bug.
I like Kyogre too. Yeah, honestly.
Red has to be the Rayquaza.
No.
I started playing my first Pokemon about a week ago.
Oh shit! Wait, which one?
It's not Ruby 7.
Red.
Oh. Okay. Nice.
Yeah. Just Red.
That was my first Pokemon video game.
Mine was Gold. My first video game ever.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. Anyway.
Your first video game ever?
Yeah, Pokemon Gold.
That's a good one. What was my first video game ever? Okay, now this is a real question.
I just one day I got like a gift from my uncle that was like, hey, here's a Game Boy Color with a Pokemon pack in.
So we had a Nintendo Entertainment System in the house growing up, but I never touched it because I was just like, oh, I don't care. That's like my sister's thing or whatever. Then one day I went over to my cousin's house and I had the 1-2 punch of playing Bob-omb Battlefield in Mario 64, and then after we were done doing that, he put on Ocarina of Time and let me run around Hyrule Field, and I think that kind of like doomed me to a life of like caring way too much about video games. Like I think there is a ground zero moment for my passion for this hobby.
I'm gonna because my dad is like a 90s programmer. So It was a PC game. It is either Star Wars X-Wing or Command and Conquer Red Alert.
That sounds about right.
Or no, you know what? I think it was Driver. Driver specifically on PC.
I hardly know her.
Oh, I would have been 4. Would I have?
It's funny because for me, I was peripherally interested in video games for a long time. Like I was really into Pokemon. I played Pokemon a lot, and we got some other games here and there. Like we got Pikmin. We got some Kirby games, but I was mostly like first and foremost like I was a cartoons person or like reading like science books and stuff. So I was late bloomer in the fact that like the thing that broke my brainworms was getting Super Smash Bros. Brawl is like my first own Smash Bros. As opposed to the one that I went to other people's houses and played. And playing Subspace Emissary and like the trophies and being like, damn, there's a whole world out there.
Yeah.
And that, that changed me.
I did bad on a math test because I played too much Brawl, and I got grounded from it for like a month. That's my Brawl memory.
Nice. I've never been grounded because I was a goody two shoes.
I think the two possible games is Star Wars X-Wing or Red Alert. One of those two. I think Driver's a little later.
That is the most programmer dad ass first video game.
I know.
Gonna make my child play Dwarf Fortress.
Well, they could play Caves of Cud now.
Oh, true. Honestly,
what would happen is my dad would play video games, and I would go, "Wow, I want to play that." Okay, no, it's okay. I found the one. It's Incoming. It's an arcade game called Incoming. It's by this like British devs. It's got this fucking proper like late 90s drum and bass soundtrack. It's fucking sick.
It's on Steam.
You can play Incoming on Steam.
Is this the Incoming?
Let me open Steam, I guess. We'll scroll down here.
This does not look like it, whatever this is. No, this is...
No.
No, this
that,
is like...
That description pisses me off.
The Democratic People's Democratic Republic of Bad. Okay.
Liberal jerk-off motion.
Okay. Okay. I will be slightly, incoming soundtrack because I can't use incoming soundtrack on this episode because we've got stuff on here. But I'm just gonna throw some in the Discord at some point later. Nice. So
I should continue.
Yes.
Ultra 7, for whatever reason, was not voiced by Koji Moritsugu, but instead it was voiced by Tetsuro Sagawa. Why? I don't know.
He was probably just like away at this point, right?
Yeah. Apparently, Eizu Yamakiwa was only available to direct these last two episodes of Leo, because these are the only episodes he's done for the show. Because he was previously busy with the 1974 TV adaptation of Japan Sinks by Toho, so he was busy. According to Yamakiwa, in 2020, because remember he died this year, he says that the high cost of production for special effects meant TBS no longer felt they could support the budget for new Ultraman shows. And it's kind of, this seemed to reflect in the mood at Super Rad Productions at the time. There was a feeling of inside the studio resignation and melancholy, and like, oh, this is the end of the road, this is the end of Ultraman, and just kind of like, also like the cost of things weighing on people of like, what's the point of making another episode if it costs more to make one than we get back from it, kind of thing. And indeed, we have like the publications of media at the time. The end of Leo was announced like, oh, this is the end of the Ultra series. And there's even like in one April magazine, like after the show end, because this show's ending in March of 75. There's a spread that's like, oh, here's the tearful farewell to Ultraman and Leo. Does not mention at all the production troubles that may have been behind the scenes, but just like, oh, so long, Ultraman, farewell. Also neat trivia. According to the Pixiv Wiki for Leo, before it was decided that they would actually go for the full 4 cores, because they were considering whether to cut it down to 3 for a while. They thought, like, in the case where the third core was only going to be 3 and they're going to cut the show short, it'd be replaced in its time slot by a certain show called Brave Raideen. But that did not happen because Leo continued, so it ended up being put somewhere else. But that's
I think there's an argument to be made that maybe the 3-core route. I don't know. It depends on what they did with it. But
well, what would have happened is we would have had the Babaru thing as the actual finale of the show.
Okay, maybe not then.
I mean, maybe not, because like they would have probably rewritten. They would have written an actual finale, but like, you know. And also, I guess that was technically the idea for that plot came from like their discussions of what to do for the next core, and there's like, well, there's leftover scraps from what we're going to do, so our thing. But it's interesting to think about it, like, you know, the mecha anime is, you know, blossoming while Toku is winding down at the same time. And you know, Raideen is sort of like almost, I think, seen as like the season 0 kind of to Robot Romance trilogy. So, so it's interesting about that stuff. And yeah, that's basically what I got for the trivia. Just, you know,
cool.
When is Space Battleship Yamato in relation to all this? Because I know that was also a big moment.
I think it was like...
Wasn't it like the same... Hang on. It might be like the same year as...
1977 was when the film happened.
Yeah. Oh, that's when the film happened.
But the movie
74.
was like a... Kind of like Gundam. The movie was a big cultural event. Which,
Because I know the movie happened the same year as Star Wars. It's a big deal.
Yeah, so I think...
The TV show was 74-75.
Yeah, so it's so it's basically concurrent with Leo.
Okay.
And I did...
Okay, that tracks to me.
And I think I saw that, like, Yamato was not a big deal as a show, but it was the movie that was a big event. And I noticed this in some interesting production stuff for future stuff, so...
I see. God, sorry. Derek Wildstar. Sorry, I'm reading, yeah. I'm reading about Star Blazers. So that's...
Fucking Star Blazer! I'm so mad they still use that fucking title when they bring this shit over. Fuck off.
It's miserable. It's like, it's important. It's a big deal. Surely you know Space Battleship Yamato is a big deal.
My Hollywood blunt rotation called that Star Blazer.
Ugh. Anyway. Man.
Trivia.
Well.
Yeah, I'm done.
Oh, I thought for some reason you had more.
No. Done. Which means... Do we have anything more to say about this episode, or do we want to just talk about Leo?
I want to talk about Leo.
Let's talk about Leo.
Let's talk about Leo.
And maybe even Leo.
You know, as well.
Well,
you know what? As they there's some connective tissue between the two. We'll roll them up into one, and we'll call them all Leo. And we might even call this 12th episode. We'll call it like episode 51 of Ultraman Leo.
Yeah, that's how it was in British syndication.
Yeah. So yeah, I think overall I'm feeling better about Leo suddenly.
It's the thing where you can have the most mid show ever, but then you have a really good finale, and that's what it is.
This is the K-On! Effect to me, where I was like, yeah, this is pretty good, and then I got to the finale of season.
Alternatively, the Ultra 7 effect.
The Ultra 7 effect, where I got to the finale of Ultra 7, and I was like, oh, this is suddenly like one of my favorite shows ever. It's crazy.
I am overall positive on... I'm going to be honest, before I watched the episodes for this series, I was fully expecting, without having seen this last batch, to go, I think Leo might be below Taro for me, because while I'm not super impressed with what Taro is doing...
It's competent.
Not only is it competent, Leo actively, showed me, a vision of, oh, this is what this could be, and then yanked it away from me repeatedly in a way that made me really depressed. But I think that it wrapped around with the last batch to be like, okay, no, when this show really has it does in a way that I resonate with more than Taro. But I do think there is a lot in this, I would say, middle to, ending batch, in between, where this show frustrated me in ways that I don't think the other ones have done. And part of that is on the production, but also, too, I do think the ways in which they... I guess, and going into it and talking... We went into the show knowing that at some point something about this is going to crash and burn, and the joke was, like, okay, is it going to be, like... Is it going to be really good as a result of everything being on fire?
Yeah, is it a beautiful explosion, or is it like you're driving down the highway and then like the car slowly like pieces fall off until you're just like on the seat in the middle of the road?
Yeah, and I think my major disappointment with it was as it became apparent there were problems, I feel like it was just everyone involved doubling down on, okay, we need to go back to the extremely basic and boring superhero version of Ultraman in a way that I'm just like, shit, I wish that there was more spark here and it was a little bit more of a beautiful disaster than what I feel like is honestly a show that is maybe a little more mundane than I would want it to be and kind of peters out in ways that I was kind of like, shit. But that doesn't take away from, I think the early episodes of the show are pretty fucking phenomenal, especially coming off of, like, Ace and Taro. And when they do want those bigger moments to hit, I think they mostly make it work. I feel like this is a shame the first time they do a big swing, like, taking out the attack team, because I feel like it didn't quite land how I would want something like that to.
Yeah, because we don't know who those guys in Mech were in the second half of the show, basically.
No. So yeah, very mixed, but overall positive is I'd say how I feel about it overall. I think I said at the end of Taro, I can't remember if I said this at the end of Taro or at the end of Ace, but there was definitely a point where I said into a microphone on this podcast, if I was not doing a podcast and just watching this stuff on my own, I would have definitely by now reached a point where I maybe tapped out.
Yeah.
I want to expand that here with Leo, where I don't know if I would call myself an Ultraman fan, but when Ultraman is really good, I do think it's really good, and I feel weird saying that as someone who has an Ultraman podcast.
I mean, to be fair, I think this is also what the hosts of GGP think of God.
Oh yeah. Probably.
I think sometimes that's just like your relationship to a thing, especially if you're not already like a fan going into it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
And also I think it's like worth saying the most people's experience as a fan is they hop around.
Yeah. Yeah, because there is also part of me that I feel like maybe real Ultraman has not been tried yet.
Oh my gosh. Oh my god.
I think that should be the episode title.
But, like, you know what I mean, though, right?
I think I get it. Like, it's like, there is a constraint.
We get bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Everyone kind of got the right idea, but, like, we haven't had it come together, you know? Like, I think Return is the one where I'm like, this is the closest to what I think I want a Ultraman show to be. But even that, I think that there's room to... I think there's an ideal version of Ultraman that we could get that we've not yet gotten yet.
Yeah, a platonic ideal that, like,
yes.
they're trying to grasp, but, like, the TV executives and budget issues, like, kind of make an issue. Mm-hmm. And also just, like, you know, the inability of people to understand each other in the writing room.
I was going to say, I do, because I was thinking a lot about what we said about, like, what TV execs want versus what the creatives want last episode. I do have, especially after watching these episodes, I do feel like it is still a split writer's room thing where I think that there's a lot of people making and writing these shows that they're too much of the percentage of the show is not playing around with stuff in a way that I feel like when you get someone like a Jisoji or, I mean, some of the other writers that we've seen, even Bunpei a little bit, I think even when you have those constraints coming up from high above, I think that there's a tendency for a lot of writers to want to find ways to stretch that for as much as they can anyways. And I feel like the last few shows we maybe haven't been seeing those stretches or people trying to bend the rules or get around stuff and kind of test the limits as much as we have in the past, if that makes
Also,
sense.
it may also just be like the political climate of the 70s is different than the 60s.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But I do think also just like fundamentally, the era is still as such that I think the writing process is one where each writer has a pet project script and it gets approved to make the episode and they make it, and there isn't necessarily as much communication between the writers of like being on the same page of what it means.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
You know, we talk about like how, contrary to the seeming character arc in the original Ultraman, it definitely seems like more like a case of like different writers having different ideas, and sometimes we jokingly say, "Oh, the writers hate each other's ideas."
I kind of wish we had that energy back. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
where there's clearly writers responding to episodes that happened 2 weeks ago, going,
Yes.
"What the fuck did you just say?"
Yeah. It was a good energy. It was maybe not sustainable for like a group of creatives making a thing, but it made for good
like
television.
That 1 week where we made a podcast, those 2 weeks where we made a podcast where, well, I guess Ultra 7 is in favor of like nuclear weapons this week, and then the next week we came back, well, this week Ultra 7 has some things to say about nuclear weapons.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm always, I never wanna let writers off the hook. It can be really easy to be like,
The Suits.
oh, it was the suits. It was the suits, really. And I have to think about these things, but because I'm an Urabuchi stan, and so I have to be like self-conscious of when I'm like, oh, Urabuchi didn't really write that one, of being like, am I using this as a get out of jail free card, or do I really mean that? Like Revenger, he wrote that one. It's mid, it's not very good, but he definitely wrote that one.
Or for me, like I like Inoue's shows. I like him. I think overall pretty positive of him, but also he did write a really bad episode of Time Ranger that's misogynist, and also he was like the guy who came in to clean up Hibiki. And how much of that is like he had being saddled with being stuck to clean up a mess, and how much of it's like his own proclivities exasperate things is hard for me to say, especially because I haven't seen the show. But like, it's like one of those things,
Yeah.
None of the writers I like have ever done anything bad. That's kind of crazy.
No, never. You read
Stephen King.
Harlan Ellison came up last week.
He's not one of my favorites. Let me be
Okay. Listen, you read that book. There was the whole thing.
I find him interesting. I don't know how much I care for his writing a lot of the time.
Okay.
But
I retract my statement.
I mean, I do like Stephen King. I would probably
lawyers.
say he's one of my favorite authors. Boy, he's written some dog shit.
Yeah.
Same with Oshi. Same with Tomino. Tomino's track record pretty good though.
Tomino's track record pretty good. It's a shame about some of the stuff in Zabungle. Listen, I wish Zabungle was good. It would be nice if like the good version of Zabungle existed. But
yeah. I've orphaned my rewatch of that and Brain Powered because the person who I was watching it with has kind of just like extremely not been online, and I'm like, damn, I want to watch anime.
Yeah,
I gotta get to Brain Powered.
So Leo, hang on. Sorry, I just had to cough up like at least 3 lungs. So Ultraman Leo is a show I'm like definitely like. You know what? Yeah, I'm positive on Ultraman Leo. I like Ultraman Leo. I think there's that early stretch that I'm a big fan of. I think there's like a long winding middle road where it's just like, Where the hell are we going? I don't know.
And they don't
We
know
do in the middle of that get some bangers sometimes. We got
Folk
that
Slop
2-episode.
was miserable.
Folk Slop was truly terrible. Folk Slop was truly, I was like, oh no.
I was like,
oh no.
There was like a potential there for it to be like end of Ace level.
Folk Slop was bad. I do think I really did not like how the retool was handled. That was, I think, the low point for me. But
yeah, for me the retool was a struggle because it was like, I feel like in a vacuum the episodes were okay to good, but like because of the context, there was the poison pill basically.
Now at the end of it, having rounded out the whole show, I think I could watch this retool stuff and be like, yeah, good episodes. I think that's how I feel about them on reflection.
Yeah, I feel like having yeah, go ahead.
Go for it.
I was just gonna say, like, I feel like having the knowledge of like they do the thing at the end makes it easier to like have that in your mind when you revisit the retool stuff.
Yes. Now,
to some degree,
do I think it was well done? No.
No.
Yeah. Do I think the whiplash from we've seen that our friends are dead to everyone get up, I've made breakfast. I was like psychotic. That was true. That was truly. I cannot believe they did that. I couldn't believe it.
I will say this: they don't make television like they used to.
They don't make television like they don't make television like
this
this anymore.
It's such a special thing of 70s television to have a moment like that.
They're just fucking. Yeah, you know. Anyway,
yeah.
but,
go ahead.
I'm just kind of like this last stretch I have come out positive on reflection. I like it.
I think my thing with this last stretch is I can't shake the feeling where I'm like, fuck, I think I like it, but to some degree it also makes me mad because I am just like, why weren't the last 9 like this? And I don't think I'm ever going to be able to quite shake that. I do think it does make it better in retrospect, but I can't. I don't think I'll ever be able to wash that taste out of my mouth of just like, it feels like the emotional fallout of this is weirdly absent when it should be forefront and centered more.
Yeah.
Which would make it for a much more and very fucking depressing show. But also, if you're going to kill off half the cast, it kind of makes sense for that to happen. So I don't know.
Is this the last time Ultraman will do this? Who knows? Who could say?
Who knows? Long history.
Yeah.
No one talks about 80.
Yeah. You know,
no one talks about it.
I'm going to unbox my copy of Ultraman 80 live.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
I'll use that moment to just say my own thoughts are a bit like, I think this is one of the things where like the differences between us are as usual are in the margins, where we're all kind of like, you know, high level of hitting our tastes at the start, going all over the place, getting lost in the middle as they try and steer a burning ship. The sloppiness of like executing the retool and somehow landing all right. It's like a show where like, yeah, I think on the whole, I think I do like it more than Taro in the end, just because I feel like it's doing more of the stuff Taro, the stuff that Leo is doing when it commits is more of what I like than what Taro's doing. But also it is only half there because they are the past 3 months, 4 months, I guess. It is what it is. It's been messy. They haven't committed to everything. Folk Slop sucks. Truly, what were they thinking with Alien Magma?
Alien Magma. The biggest, most, just,
I think with time, the Alien Magma thing is so stupid that I do kind of find it endearing. I think that's my Ultraman Blazer bullshit equivalent. Is just like, why would you do that?
It's such an unforced L. It's crazy. They just didn't have to do that.
Introduce intimidating villain and make him come back as like a flop villain who's like wants to marry Reshiram.
They got feedback from people telling them we want more alien magma, and they were like, "Oh, you mean like this?" No, obviously. What the fuck?
And also,
couldn't believe it.
Also, Shin Hayate is here for some reason.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why did they just make him Hayata? That was so weird.
Okay, well, because this guy has a personality.
This guy has a personality. He can't be Hayata.
True.
Can't be Hayata. Hayata had all the personality burned from his mind when Ultraman resided in his body.
All the personalities in the goop capsule.
Yeah, true.
Anyways, I'm gonna open up this copy of 80, and if there's not a fucking booklet inside, I'm gonna kill someone.
Reminds me of all things. Most curse reference. The protagonist of a certain magical index is technically like a different person after the first volume because he loses all his memories of himself before after like the first volume. And there is sort of like some people were like, what was he even like before losing his memories anyway? And also the author was like, I don't know why I did that in hindsight.
I'm happy to report Ultraman 80 does have a booklet with the directors and
nice.
listed. Thank Christ. Oh my god, my life is so much easier.
Hopefully that means that like the Ultraman also has a booklet. But you know. That'll be
do we have anything more to say about Ultraman Leo, or do we want to move on to sorters? Oh, I guess color timers. Do you have color timers?
You want? Yeah. Okay, I guess we don't have much else to say. We've milked the stone.
I think we've mostly said it our piece even before this episode.
Yeah, like
we've been talking about it as we go, but
yeah.
it was kind of like what was up in the air was, you know, how we would actually feel on the whole, and it turns out when you make 3 good episodes right at the end, what happens is we go, oh yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. So, color timers, episode 49, 1 minute 39 seconds. Episode 50, 8 minutes, 54 seconds. However, he does spend
so long.
4 minutes and 12 seconds dead. So I guess really it's more like 4 minutes, 42 seconds.
Yeah.
And then episode 51, 5 minutes, 46 seconds. So there's the dream sequence that's like 1 minute.
Nice.
This is also where I will put it like a roundup of the capsule countdown if it more than once in the entire show.
Excellent.
Thank you, Saventure.
Do we want to do sorters?
Yeah. Sorter time.
Fun stuff and then emails. Not that emails aren't fun.
Yeah.
I have my sorters here. Do we want to do a top... Do we do like a bottom 3, top 10?
I think that's what we've been doing.
Yeah.
Some of these, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to need to pull up so I can remember.
Yeah.
But to clarify, when we say bottom 3, are we starting at 71 or 69?
Nice.
We're starting at 69, nice.
So we're starting at 69?
16. Yeah.
Okay.
Who's going first?
I'll go.
Okay.
69 for me was Ultraman Ace. Get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here.
69 for me was first Ultraman. Get the fuck out of here.
I think first Ultraman got high for me because I happened to put the picture here where he's saying, I'll kill you, Astra.
Mel, you're 69.
My 69 is Ashuran. I think he's ugly.
Okay. Yeah. Brad.
My number 70 is Astra. I'll kill you, Astra.
My number 60 is Wolf. I don't fucking know what this is.
He was the werewolf vampire.
Oh, it's the werewolf vampire, right?
Oh yeah, I was
it's just
gone
a
that
wolf.
week.
Objectively,
you
of the
weren't- you
two
weren't there
vampires that week, the better of the two somehow.
Yeah, the better. Yeah.
But the design leaves much to be desired.
Mm-hmm. True.
I don't know
Mel.
why I looked up wolf on Google, assuming this would be what pulled up.
Fucking genius. You fucking genius. Your brain is so big.
They should just know what I want, you know.
The algorithm, they're spying on us anyway.
Yeah, they're listening to everything I say to this microphone.
Yeah. Mel, you're 70.
My 70 is Paradise. I think that's like the
Alien Paradise.
Yeah, the guys who did the Dragon Palace submarine.
Yeah, the fake, the
yeah.
mid Dragon Palace.
Yeah.
Those guys.
Uh-huh. Brad.
My number 71 is Koro. Who the fuck is Koro?
That was the kid alien who
Oh,
the chunky
yeah,
guy,
yeah.
and they had to measure his tail because the one guy ripped it off.
That's just a kid in a suit. I'm just kind of like, that's kind of
Yeah.
whatever.
I know you hated Space Boys too.
My 71 is Alpha Nikkei. There's a woman. That's just a woman.
Just the
now,
goddess
she
of
did
victory.
invent. She
True.
did invent the Winter Olympics
Yes,
specifically,
specifically
which is
the Winter
very
Olympics.
funny. But this is just a woman.
She was pretty low for me too. Oh, everyone who is just a person is in like my bottom 10.
Yeah, I mean, I like it more spread depending on their costume is cool, but yeah. My number 71 is also a person. It's White Flower Spirit.
Yeah.
I don't remember that
Yeah.
episode at all.
Oh, this is the one where
I think it was like the vermin.
Kaoru's getting menaced by this alien,
Yeah.
and Kaoru's been talking to flowers.
Yeah.
Like when we did that podcast, I had already memory hold that episode.
Yeah, it's complete nothing. And we talked about it for like 5 minutes.
Yes.
It was nothing. We were just like, "Are we done? Yeah, we're done. Let's move on." It was a relief that we did not have to talk about that episode. There was nothing happened. Top 10.
Top 10.
All right, am I leading off again?
Yeah, lead off again. Go
10
for it.
is Gamorot, who, if I recall, is a robot, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
the
a
robot from...
It's a robot that the legs and arms come out.
Was this the one with the scaffolding that was built around?
Yes.
Yes. That was. So I gotta say, I feel like the robot content this series around maybe had some better robots in the past. Gamorot's still very cool.
Yeah, Gamorot's so cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. My 10 is Babaru. I like the design of Babaru.
He's a good design. How does Babaru compare to Valky?
Which one's Valky?
The guy who shows up for no reason at the end of Taru.
When I look up Valky, I get a Magic the Gathering guy.
How long until we get Magic the Gathering and Legends of the Ultraman? Or whatever the fuck
I mean, this guy is cooler than Babaru, but he does just show up and it's... Valky's iconic in the sense that, like, I don't know why he's there. He's like one of the significant parts of the finale of Taro where it's like, what is happening here? Why is he fighting this guy? Who is he?
Final Fantasy final boss ass motherfucker.
Who is this guy? Who are you? Get out of here.
Mel.
My number 10 is Silverbloom.
Cool.
The first UFO who
Yeah.
killed everyone.
Oh yeah,
Highest
yeah.
body count.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like
Brad.
it's I just want to say it just sets a good, like, I think the law of the future flying saucer guys are a bit more conventional in their look, especially as it goes on.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this one sets a good one, like how alien, like truly alien, some of these could be, like just going out there with a really weird, unorthodox design for like a kaiju that we haven't had in a long time.
Now, that may be true. However, what if I told you that 3 of my top 5 are saucer creatures?
I mean, same.
Actually, more percentage of that for me.
Actually, I don't know. Actually, not my top 5, but like definitely there's a bunch of them in my, up there.
Yeah.
Anyway, Brad, you're 9.
Number 9 is Taisho, who, if I recall,
That's the pissed one.
Oh, god damn it. I didn't even think
You
about
pick
it.
the piss guy.
He's a funny little guy.
But by the way, bro, I'm pissing. I just thought I'd let you know. I'm gonna piss right now.
Look at this little guy. He's a friend.
He is a fun guy.
He's a fun guy.
My reservations of piss aside.
Swimming in his own piss.
Thank you, Ultra Wookie, for having this be one of the 6 images you use for this guy.
This is just an image of Leo just like having this little friend in a headlock.
Yeah.
It's not even around the neck, it's like halfway up
it's like around his face.
Yeah.
It's like Leo's misplaced where the neck is. He's squishing this guy's nose. He's like, help me. My number 9. We are only on number 9. Okay, yes. Father of Ultra. He fucking blew up that planet, bro. He fucking. It's the zoom in on Dan as he remembers the light of destruction, and then the light of destruction is revealed to be Father
Santa
of Ultra
Claus.
no scoping a planet with a key. It was crazy.
Sometimes Ultraman is truly magical
Yeah.
in ways that are definitely unintended.
I will remember that cutaway, like 10 seconds of footage more than anything else about the rest of that episode moving forward.
The music cuts out and there's like this mystical object, the key, and then he holds it like it like cocks it clicks. It was so good. Mel, your 9.
My number 9 is Gamarot.
Hell yeah. Camelot rules.
Hell yeah.
Brad. 8.
Number 8, North Satan. I do feel like we maybe got too much Satan in the names going on.
Yeah.
A lot of black, a lot of Satan. I feel like the names need to get more variety again. But North Satan, cool name for a very intimidating looking motherfucker. I'm a big fan of if you're gonna go all out on like, oh, this is gonna be a serious threat. That's a good design for one. Big fan. It has devil horns.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brad, I agree. Number 8, North Satan.
Yeah.
Well, I also agree. Number 8, North Satan.
Let's go.
Let's go.
I guess.
Right.
Do you have any other commentary on North Satan before I move to my number 7?
That's cool.
You said
I do like the
he
Kaiju
was
design
cool,
more
it's
than the
cool.
Alien one. But
Yeah.
but he does just like fist fight on a boat against that version of North Satan, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
With his super slalom powers.
The super slalom power.
Was that the last training Gen did? I think it was.
That might have been the last training bit. That might have been it. Brad, 7.
My number 7 is Kirara.
Kirara.
Oh,
Yeah.
the Moon Rock guy.
Yeah, this goofy little dork.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like his face a lot.
rare
He shoots out the
googly eyes.
sparks.
This is the guy in the shiny place in G-Quox.
True.
Something like that.
He's in that.
That show
That
you
show's
just
so good.
that show you watched. we'll discuss that next week, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Look forward to the spoiler cast.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you when on the day of episode 11 with all the discourse, I saw Red tweet. I have not watched G-Cox at all. And me, as a naive yet rational person, was like, well, I assume this just means that Red is going to be like, well, I'm good, and then it'll just be me and Brad talking about it. And that didn't...
No. I fixed that.
You did fix it.
I watched all of G-Cox. That exists as
that
yet.
exists.
And
There's
then
one more
I'll watch the finale on Tuesday, and I'll go, all right,
And then we'll talk about it.
and then we'll talk about it.
This series has got me back into being an actual YouTuber. It's crazy.
But listen.
I'm just holding my.
They like what they like.
I'm just holding my thoughts until this podcast. I don't wanna let this steam out. I wanna like bottle up.
Oh, you. You're gonna conserve that energy. It's gonna be like yeah. So yeah, this guy, he's a cool guy. I like Kirara.
Yeah, he's a friend.
Yeah.
He is extremely me-core. He's just a goofy little dork.
Yeah.
I did kind of forget about the whole Guardian of Princess Kaguya thing. Mm-hmm. Honestly kind of a weird design for that guy, but he's fun.
I
like him.
He's hanging out with Mochiron on the moon.
Yeah, I would have maybe made a more serious face.
He's number 11 for me.
My number 7 is Absorber.
Yeah.
You know,
that's jellyfish.
That's another like weird design for the saucer guys. That's cool. Just like a weird tentacle thing.
Yeah. Alternative name, Absorber.
Absorber. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, I'm gonna absorb your energy.
I made the executive tyrant decision as the sorter person.
I'm gonna rebel. It's time to absorb.
These all sound like over-the-counter pharmaceuticals that are just trying to like get around copyright enough to be like, oh, buy our one.
Ask your doctor about Absorba today.
Ask your doctor about Absorba.
Prone to drowsiness as a side effect.
Mm-hmm.
Do not give to animals.
No, do not.
I forgot that my 7 was also Taisho.
Nice.
Turns out he is a goofy guy that worn his way to my heart.
Yeah. Piss be damned.
Yeah.
Piss be damned.
Brad. I was about to go next.
Yeah, my number 6, Black Tarina.
Oh, the
cool.
seashell.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
This is the one that's just latching onto people like a facehugger, if I recall, which was part of why I fucked with it.
Yeah, that was a good episode.
I think that of the pre like this batch episodes, that's the one that stands out to me of like, I enjoy what this is doing, but again without the reservations of the other stuff. It's a wacky time.
I just love when my Ultraman protagonist is almost run over by a car and then someone tries to drop cinder blocks on them.
Cinder block?
Yeah, immediately after.
Yeah.
It's such a good sequence.
My number 6 is Commander Black. I like Commander Black.
Yeah.
I've been the number 1 Commander Black stan on this podcast.
I don't know why my Commander Black is like so low. It's like 25, but like Commander Black's really cool.
He's 37 for me, which
every
I think
time
is where I'm at.
Every time he shows up, I'm like, oh hell yeah, you're my guy. Even when he's a loser and he sucks, I'm like, hell yeah, bro.
Oh, I just realized. Do you know where I have Ultraman Leo?
Where?
Number 15.
Number 15.
Let's go. 15. Where's Leo for me? Oh yeah, Leo's like middle of the pack. He's like 35 for me. Father of Ultra 36. Commander Black 37.
50.
Damn.
Right above Ultraman King and Mother of Ultra and Return of Ultraman.
I like Leo's design personally. I think
just a bunch of ultras together. I think this was the sort of where I just kind of was like, the ultras have to go down at the bottom to this week. I simply have those. I think there's pretty good kaijus in this one.
Yeah.
That I would also say, if we are following the tact I know we sometimes take with the sorters, where we're thinking about the ultras not as series wide from what we see of them, but also specifically them in this series, I don't know that this is the best showing of the ultras within the plot itself, outside of like 7, of course, right?
Or for me, first Ultraman for saying, I'm gonna kill you, Esther.
Is that his only line of dialogue in this show?
It might be. I think Zoffy also got high just because it was like, oh, here's Zoffy in the foxhole.
Yeah, he was 14 for me.
Zoffy's probably... No, Zoffy's not my highest, obviously, is Father of Ultra because he obliterated that planet.
Zoffy's my highest.
Mm-hmm.
I do have Zoffy higher than Father of Ultra.
Mal, you're 6.
My number 6 is the knife alien, Saruk.
Cool.
The guy who kills Toru's dad.
Yeah.
And also Kairo's dad.
He was high for me. He was 19.
Nice. Yeah, he's cool. Good, impactful set of episodes as well. So.
Brad.
We're at number 5. Akumania. Again, kind of a weird meatball with legs, big evil Oni face, and like I believe he has horns too.
Yeah.
I just like when the monster isn't like necessarily humanoid shaped, and they kind of he is, but also he is more of like a weird like ball like cylinder thing.
Yeah.
I like when they do that. I'm a big fan. It always makes them stand out to me. So I do not necessarily remember the episode itself as much. Like which
there
one
was like
this?
weird.
This is the blue hands.
The blue hands
coming out of the wall.
Oh yeah, that was a fan. Yeah. That was a phenomenal episode.
It was like when like when we broke out of Folk Slop. It was like, are we back? Question mark.
Yes, that's just a great horror episode. Yeah. Yeah, I was like, I remember there's a reason.
Yeah, and like we had the juxtaposition between like Akamania as like a goofy eyeball, as a scary eyeball in the sky, and then he gets a human form, and he's like a good little goofy guy. But also
yeah, phenomenal kaiju.
Yeah, definitely one of the best in this show.
Number 5 is Akamania. Everything you said. There we go.
Number 5 for me is Black Terrana.
Yeah,
nice.
Is this the most we've ever aligned? I feel like
it may be. Like there's definitely
very in step.
I think there's some where we got like a whole bunch of some where like maybe our top 3 gets really aligned, but like the top 10 is a bit more spread out. But this may be, For Return of Ultraman, I did like the bit where like I went back to look at our old thing, and then after that I was like, I'm not doing this again.
I'm still a big fan of the Return of Ultraman segment where you two were about to fucking strangle me and like hang me from a tree for like not having Prisma as number 1, and then I was like, oh, it's Vacuumod. They're like, okay. That's acceptable.
Yes. I was like, oh, same kind of vibe, different angle. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You're allowed. You're off the hook.
Yeah.
Prisma's just so good. It's just anyway.
Prisma's great. Are we missing anyone's number 5? Oh no, we're on number 4.
We're on 4 now.
Number 4, sticking out your gat for the Hangler.
Hell yeah.
I think my Hangler is 12. Hangler is good though.
I'm not a big fan of that episode, but I like Hangler.
Hey, let me tell you, number 4, the Hangler.
What the fuck is going on? My number 4.
It's the Hangler, baby.
My number 4 is Black Dome. I like the little crab.
Yeah.
Black Dome is very good.
Good crab. Attack is weak point for massive damage.
True.
Yeah.
That's
number 3. That's
Oh, I was gonna say that's an old internet meme for you younger listeners who may not have been around for mid-aughts.
Do the kids these days know about Chad Warden?
Man, maybe it's for the best.
Maybe.
Probably. He says some shit.
He says. Listen, he says some shit he's not really allowed to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just gotta skirt around that. It's the same as the like the I'm at soup bit is from a Code Geass like abridged episode, and in that same episode he just says the N-word.
Well, you know what? Anyway. That entire series outside the soup clip is apparently lost media.
Are you telling me that an abridged series made in the 2000s would no longer be on the internet?
Wait, you can't... Code Ment isn't up anymore?
It might not be.
I'm looking up Code Ment.
One day I'll actually watch Code Geass.
Oh my god, I always forget you haven't.
No, I'm...
Oh, no, it looks like he remastered it.
Oh.
Okay.
He might have cut out the N-word. He didn't. He hasn't gone up to the episode. Oh, it's not on here anymore. Well, you can still find the clip. The clips. Listen, don't watch Code Ment in the year 2025. Watch the I'm at soup clip.
The soup clip does transcend time.
Yes. Well, where were we?
Number 3. Absorba.
Wow. That's high for Absorba.
I like Absorba. I like a jellyfish. Again, puppet guy.
Remember, yeah, Brad was feasting this particular, at least for the kaiju stuff for the retool, even if not the plot stuff.
Yeah, It's like, what if we got like a whole final sequence of alien pulls back to back? Nah, that's not true. Alien pull stands out.
It's more like the weird like Vera or whatever from the early 7.
Yeah.
Mel, what was your 4? I've already forgotten. How did we get onto the conversation about...
Because Black Dome was the giant enemy crab.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. I now understand what happened.
Black Dome.
My number 3 is Gamera.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Expected a bit.
Cool robot. I'm always putting the cool robots high. The cool robots get very high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's Avenger? I know he's like not the coolest robot. He's a little goofy guy.
I do not necessarily consider Avenger a cool robot. Where is Avenger on this list?
Mine's 24.
It's low. Ooh, it's 45 for Avenger.
Not a good showing.
28 for me, which honestly I'm a little... Silver Bloom's cooler than Avenger. What am I doing?
That's 28 is a multiple of 7.
Nice. Number theory.
Oh, as is... No, I was about to say 45 is a multiple of 7. Never mind.
Anyway.
We on
number 3. You're number 3.
I have my number 3.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
I'm just going to say, when I look at my number 3, I'm like, these could be shuffled around in any order. I wouldn't be too plussed or bothered. Because I like all 3 of them really a lot. But my number 3 is Akumania.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I love Akumania. The fucking... He's got this goofy grin like the guy from Gunstar Heroes.
Mm-hmm. It's cool as hell.
Yeah.
Brad, your
number 2.
2, yeah.
I'm a little surprised that he seems to have ranked highest for me. Black Dome.
Oh,
nice. I'm a big fan. Love a crab. Crab's always good in these shows, shockingly. Yeah. The picture you used for the sorter did remind me of Leo just putting the top half of that building down on the street. Like, it could be used for anything else later. Which is honestly, the more I think about it, an all-time Ultraman moment.
It's so stupid. Gen does not know anything about architecture.
Wait, was that
told Gen that's not how buildings work.
Did he put it on the street, or did he just put it on a different building?
No, he just put it on the street down.
He put it down safely, like it could be useful later. It could be put back together.
Like it's the top part of like a Lego building.
Yeah.
So good.
Can we use coffee funds to hire an architect to tell us the logistics of how hard it would be to reassemble a building?
We would need a bit more coffee funds.
Damn, that's a shame.
Exactly one person gives the coffee. I know exactly who it is.
Nice. My number
person.
2. My number 2 is Nova. I love Nova. Mm-hmm. Nova's cool.
Yeah.
Big fan.
Nova's great.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say.
You know what? I agree. My number 2 is Nova.
Let's go.
I think maybe we covered it a lot on the episode this week already. But I like this. He's a funny guy. Does good stuff with Toro. Brainwashed Toro just walking through a crowd of people and spraying them with a berserker glass is good. Just a funny little face, little octopus guy. Go octopus guy. He's
excellent.
Good.
Mm-hmm. I agree even harder than both of you.
Let's go.
Because my number 1 is Nova.
Hell yeah.
Let's go. That's fucking right.
I was a little bit like, is this recency bias? And then I looked at it, I'm like, no, he's just that fucking cool.
Yeah, I mean, like it's like that episode is just one of the best episodes of the show.
The Scarlet Storm, the streets looking like they're just flowing with blood.
Fucking rain, red rain.
It hits so many, like it has that kind of like, 1, dumb puppet. 2, it kind of leans into like the weird horror, like folklore, like doll angle thing a little bit, which I like.
Yeah, it's a thing where like Ultraman likes to sometimes do where they mix the sci-fi with like the folklore.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like if Folkslop was good?
Yeah.
And, like, there's a way in which, like, the way it possesses people by just hanging out on their shoulder, is, like, that perfect mix of me of, like, this is a little bit of, like, a ghost or, like, demonic possession, but also, like, it's a weird alien parasite in a way that, like, I'm like, yes, you're firing on all cylinders. This is Ultraman
And then
to me.
it also being an expression of Toru's misery.
Grief. Yeah.
Yes. It's the ideal kaiju alien weird freak to me. And also its weird tendril arm is cool as shit.
I think you'll find it's the second place in terms of platonic ideal kaiju, because the number one place platonic ideal kaiju is a giant crab, motherfucker. My number one is Black Dome.
Oh shit, I thought Black Dome was earlier on your list. That's so funny.
Oh my god.
It's a giant crab. What, Nova. Oh, Nova 2 has got all big thematic elements to it. What if crab?
I think it's so funny how, like, despite all our reservations about the UFO series, that the kaiju themselves are like outperforming most of the show.
They bang.
I'm just a big puppet guy.
Yeah.
I hope the lesson they
You're
learn
a
from
big
this...
puppet guy? This explains a lot.
Yeah.
What
Gary
kind of puppet
me when
are
I
you?
interviewed Gary Anderson.
Yeah.
You call him... Sorry. I don't mean to call you out, but I believe you just called him Gary Anderson.
Yeah, I said Jerry. Sorry, my brain thought of the G. I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like G off.
That's his brother. Yeah. I don't have anything else to say about Black Dome.
Yeah.
Mal, you're number one.
My number one, breaking from the mold, going back to the past. Antares.
Antares?
Yeah, the scorpion guy.
That was a really cool one.
I need to look this guy up. Is it...
He was the silent martial artist.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know, he was fairly low on my list, but I feel like if I had remembered that context, he probably would have been...
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the design itself I'm kind of indifferent to, but I did really like
it's definitely the context
episode.
that was doing it for me. And like I said, like, this top three could be shuffled around. Like, I'm like, I see Antares first. I think, I don't know if I like it actually more than Nova or Acumania, but I do at least like it alongside them. So
I think this is the most we've ever lined up. It's
it's crazy.
There are some the top 10 here is just bangers. This has been, I think, one of our best shows kaiju wise for a while.
Yeah. They were getting kind of lazy there for a bit, and I feel like we got that juice back where it's like we can do more than just dinosaurs when we're in a bind.
And some of that was it was like for money reasons they had to do puppets for a bit.
Yeah.
I think Black End is a cool ass monster. It's only 13 for me. It's wild. We were pretty spoiled.
I mean, yeah, I've got Black End down at 18. I've got Black Terran at 21. But those are all great.
Where the fuck is Black End for me? Whatever.
I've got Satan Moore at 15.
Satan Moore was 11 for me.
Satan Moore was 17 for me.
Zoffy was 14.
Yeah.
How the fuck did Wolf end up at 20? Fuck you. That's not true.
Sort of logic, it happens. Anyway, those are our lists.
Yes.
All right, I have one very important question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where did everyone put Alien Clean?
Okay, hang on, let me see.
Mine was at 63.
Clean is 47 for me.
16.
I can't believe Clean got that high for you.
I can't believe it either. I can't believe that's so high.
I need to ask this just so people who are in the audience who didn't do the sorter know what's in the sorter. Where did you put the Planet Apple chickens?
That was 56 for me, which is, I'm honestly shocked it got that high.
The chickens from the Planet Apple are somehow at 64 above Roland,
what the fuck?
White Flower
also
Spirit,
64 for
Kaguya, and how is Bunyo at 68? What the fuck happened there? I like Bunyo. Anyway.
I also have it as 64.
Anyway. That is the list.
Yes.
Good job, everyone. Okay. Do we have any emails?
We sure do.
Okay.
Give me a
Let's
number
go
count.
through those.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
We have 4.5.
Well, of course.
How do you do half an A press?
By which I mean, like, Kat sent one and then sent one and a second one later in the week. It's probably a bonus one. So.
I see. Let's go.
Yeah. Speaking of, first one's Kat.
Hello.
Subject line, me and my friends who have killed Commander Black with hammers, I tell you what.
Yeah.
Hi, congrats on finishing Leo. Sorry about it, question mark in parentheses.
No, we're doing okay now.
No, we're fine.
doing okay
we turned
now.
out okay.
This batch turned out alright, turns out.
We really had the Leo fans scared there. We had them worried. Got to keep you on your toes.
Oh, no, maybe we really are like the Ace fans for Leo, because the Ace fans still also like the last episode of Ace.
Oh, that's so true. Anyway. Continue. Sorry, I should try not to interrupt, because otherwise we will be here for hours.
Yeah. I think I've pretty much covered my feelings about it before. I don't really like it, but sure is unforgettable. The final art contributes to that. It's objectively a completely wild thing to do 80% of the way into your show, but then it tries to sweep the gravitas of that shake-up under the rug. It made my head still ring from the blows of early episodes, but it also has this underlying vibe where the whole thing feels a little too bleak and intense to me, even when it's trying to be cozy, so I just end up feeling uneasy about it. Parentheses, sorry Tep, I do like Insane Taskmaster Dan. Close parentheses. What's interesting is that Leo kind of mirrors the fate of some of the Toei tokusatsu at the same time. There's almost no Showa-era Kamen Rider season that doesn't get knocked off course by something behind the scenes, usually Toei freaking out that perfectly decent ratings aren't as astronomically high as the first two seasons. Well, this also happened with Ultraman, that's for sure. And a couple that go exactly the same way as Leo, retreating into a quote-unquote safe version of Rider that's kind of just a watered-down version of the original. Although at least there's a coin toss, and for instance, the original Kamen Rider and, parentheses, over the Sentai, parentheses, Bioman, react to suddenly losing prominent cast members in creative ways that end up making the show stronger. I do wonder if some of the same forces were at play for Tsuburaya. I know that Kamen Rider X, which aired in 1974, and suffered a very similar fate to Leo, parentheses, ditching its distinctive elements to retread familiar ground, killing off characters before their time, close parentheses, was partly struggling because Mazinger Z was eating up the race ratings. Maybe Ultra was also struggling to compete with 70s anime. Again, parentheses, this does make it quite funny that Kamen Rider X finale has a destroyed giant robot. Revenge in spirit, question mark, close parentheses.
Yeah, I mean, short-lived revenge. Mazinger Z rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get fucked. The mecha genre is here, bro.
I was about, like, I hate to be that guy, but I am just, I think, a little bit like, oh yeah, of course the mecha shit popped off, because it's so fucking cool.
Yeah.
all these newfangled giant robots. Yeah, they're cool, bro.
I do kind of want to. So here's my problem. If this is a very us specific problem, even more specific. This is just a me issue, but I do like. Because I've just accepted my buddy Fag, our lives and schedules are so different.
Yeah.
That Kamen Rider podcast is probably never coming back. I do want to go back and wrap up that original Kamen Rider series at some point.
Me selfishly, yes. My Ultraman podcast, the one that lived.
Yeah. Listen, his work schedule's been something.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, but I do kind of just have that thing where I'm like, I already feel like I'm at max capacity with 3 to 4 episodes of Toku a week in terms of, like, watching stuff for enjoyment. And I feel like if I start also watching Kamen Rider, I'm going to get so burnt the fuck out. So I'm like, fuck. Because I want the context of, like, what the fuck goes on in, like, V3 and all those other Kamen Rider stuff, which, like, is kind of in the same milieu as this and, like, happening at the same time. But also, too, I don't want to actually burn myself out and make myself have a miserable time by getting too much toku all in one dose.
For me, as like a toku fan, that's like fine for me. I'm like more because I'm more interested in. I'm just more geared to being a toku fan generally. That is, I don't get burned out as much. But it is like I do need to take that 70s Ultraman journey myself. Still, that is like the thing I need to check off the box. But I was just like, for context, I was just posting about like the retool shit posting on like Blue Sky, and then Kat just alluded, something about like you don't know the context of 70s Ultraman. So I was like, oh, please do email about this so we can talk about it, because I feel like because we've been kind of like
Kamen Rider.
Yeah, we've been like because of like us just logistics, obviously we are kind of siloed off in like knowing how Ultraman's going without necessarily knowing the bigger context of what's going on in the other toku shows. So I feel like it was like if someone who has seen the 70s Ultraman can like tell us Kamen Rider, again I keep saying it, someone who has seen the 70s Kamen Rider at the same time can at least say, hey, this is also happening at the same time, so it's not like a uniquely Super Eye issue, but it's also just like a medium issue.
Toku's just kind of falling apart at this stage. It had like this huge burst of being like, oh, we're the biggest thing on the planet, and then as soon as they're not seeing the biggest ratings on planet Earth, they're like, panic.
Part of the reason I do also, at some point, I'm gonna probably try to force myself to engage with them, because like I have this feeling that I feel like I'm not justified, or I don't have enough under my belt to really say this with full confidence yet, but I think that maybe baseline Kamen Rider appeals to me more than, say, baseline Ultraman does, but I do think Ultraman, when it's going all in on what I like about Ultraman, I am more impressed with than I am with what I've seen of like the earlier Kamen Rider stuff. I
will say, like, just as a aside, there probably is a reason that, like, despite one getting a more aggressive official licensing push, that Kamen Rider is the one that's the most popular toku series, like not just in Japan but also just over here. Like there is just like something about Kamen Rider that just makes it more accessible, appealing to people compared to Ultraman, probably.
How big is the difference in Japan between those two? Because like I just don't know. Like I know that Ultraman obviously doesn't have as big of a push, but
I think like it's a pretty decent gap. I found like hold on, I found this one. I found this like thing of like Bandai's profits for the past few years.
Oh yeah, I think I remember this going around. Oh, okay, that's a huge gap. That is I'm actually impressed how much this is closing in recent years.
Notice one, Sentai's doing not ideal.
What the fuck's going on with Sentai? Yeah, hold on.
Well, this is like 2022 is Dawn Brothers, so they might have turned around, but I don't know the degree. But you can definitely see mid to late tens Ultraman to like early 20s is definitely like them going hard and like catching up to Kamen Rider, but probably not going to actually close the distance unless like something crazy bad happens to Kamen Rider. Mm-hmm. But Kamen Rider is then like in a very secure position for a long time. But yeah, it's interesting, and also like a lot of this is also I think in China specifically, Ultraman is like really big, which adds a lot.
Yeah.
I think
Kamen Rider, you probably get a little bit of an older audience as well as the kids too, because Kamen Rider gets a little more edgy from what I've experienced of it in ways that I feel like the Ultraman stuff wants to stay relatively clean. That maybe doesn't appeal to the older kids as much.
You say that, but I think Kamen Rider, Kamen Rider Kuga is still like the intent, like the audience is like young kids.
Let's be clear, like
there was a surprise audience of mothers, specifically because they were into the main guy. He was hot. Yeah. Like the effect has been named after him.
Well, I want to say that the naming of the effect is actually more of an urban legend. Like, isn't actually real.
I see. Okay.
But like it is true that there is like there's a parallel fan base of like mothers who like Kamen Rider because the guys are hot.
Well, I was about to say, isn't that like I feel like for a lot of these shows, isn't that part of the casting too, where they're also
Yes.
making decisions specifically for like mothers who are like staying at home with the kids and stuff like that too to like get like them kind of
like objectively
in the mix,
speaking,
too.
this is also true of the original Kamen Rider.
That makes sense.
It's just 70
you know
sensibilities
what?
versus 2007.
You know what? I see it. That guy's cool. I'm a big fan. I'm
Yeah.
a big fan of Hongo.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a weird space right now. Like Ultraman's definitely like at the highest it's probably been for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But also there is just like a weird like Kamen Rider kind of is like the king in a way that's hard to like put into words.
Yeah.
With all this money, Ultraman should make a good show.
I'm hoping Omega's good.
Yeah.
It looks neat.
I don't want to say that I don't have high expectations or I don't have low expectations, but I'm not expecting too much. We'll see.
I mean,
third time's the charm. Third time's the charm. They can do it.
I've seen a couple of things about Omega, and I'm like, this one could be it. This one could be it.
It's doing.
I haven't seen shit.
I'm not gonna be like.
Yeah.
I am not getting Fell for It Again award. I'm not doing that. But we could be in for something. We could be.
Anyway, let me continue.
Oh, this email isn't over. Oh
Yes.
my god. Okay, the tangents have to decrease.
yes.
Speaking of which, this moment is a bit of a shift in the Toku landscape. The first two Kamen Rider shows ran continuously from 71, alongside Return, through to 95, ending the same year as Leo, though I will say, addendum, Stronger does continue for a year after Leo, on the same network. So, Rider does have like one more year left in it. That was a bit more final as well, playing us up as the grand finale of Kamen Rider series in a big way. Meanwhile, the same year, concurrent with with Stronger, but after Leo, the first Super Sentai started, which would then have really found its footing by the time Ultra and Rider returned, within a year of each other, and neither for very long. We'll talk about that when we get to talk about 80, I guess. So the 75 to 80 period is an interesting transitional gap, though there were a lot of more standalone Toku back then than there are these days. So you get this pretty notable series like Keikatsu Zubat and Toei Spider-Man in there. Anyway, without wishing to spoil you per se, I do want to provide you some reassurance that, at least from my perspective, Ultra shows you have yet to get to will have things offer and interest you without always just retreating to the lowest trauma denominator. Whether or not Tiga, parentheses, which I haven't seen, close parentheses, lives up to the hype. Other Heisei Revival era seasons like Cosmos and Nexus are definitely doing very different things. Parentheses, in opposite directions for those two cases, close parentheses. Something spoilery, which I will withhold.
Okay, thank you.
And having to do with like mid-10s Ultraman, early 10s Ultraman. And even though the modern generation is the most toy-heavy, it also gets some seasons with very strong unique visions like Orb and the highest concentration of villains as focus characters. So take heart.
Yeah.
I'll have to I'll ponder that Orb.
We'll ponder the
Orb
Orb eventually.
Yeah.
Orb was the most recent one when we had started, right?
No.
Oh, okay, never mind.
It was Decker. Orb was the most recent one when I got into Toku.
Oh, okay.
It was a 2016 show. So I guess it's almost 10 years old. I hate that. I guess I've now got about a month to decide if I want to go back and finish 80 alongside the coverage. I like what I saw of it, but I'll depend on timing. And I also have to decide to go back and watch from episode 1, since it's been a while. Or just jump on in the teens where I left off. So either I'll follow along or I'll see you for Nexus. Damn, that's a while. But thank you.
Yeah, listen.
For that email.
Thank you for your email.
Thank you for the email. And the context is actually very useful.
Yes.
And interesting.
Okay, I'm sending 2 emails for you for the Leo finale, because I guess you brought up medieval clerics. Thank you. There's a second email. So yeah, that thing about medieval clerics shouldn't use bladed weapons because they drew blood, but they could use blunt weapons because that's a loophole. The D and spread is actually a myth. It wasn't a rule at all.
Oh shit!
Towards the end,
called out.
Towards the end of the Middle Ages, the church tried to get a handle on clerical violence and made peace calm down and stick to the non-violence thing. But before that, medieval priests really didn't give a shit. They led armies and stabbed guys with swords all the time. I guess this is the Crusades. Parentheses because often they were... Oh, never mind, hold on. Parentheses because often they were major landowners and that comes with the responsibility of military service, close parentheses.
I think Brad's thing was about D&D. D&D loop. I wasn't sure if it was like a historical actual thing.
Well, he assumed it came from a historical thing.
Well, I think it was Gygax's.
Oh, Gygax subscribed to the myth. I see.
I something like that. Like that. I think that's where that came from. Yeah.
Basically, Gygax was wrong.
As many things.
Do not put it in the papers that we were wrong. It was Gary Gygax that was wrong.
The idea about blunt weapons comes from one instance where a priest carried a club into battle because, I don't know, that's just the weapons they had. And you don't have to look far else for other counterexamples. See attached.
Well, lots of knights used blunt weapons because,
armor.
You had to bash people to death. And swords aren't good at that.
See attached medieval art of Archbishop Baldwin of Trier smashing open a guy's head with a sword on Emperor Henry VII's expedition to Italy to get crowned. As you can see, there was some opposition to this.
I just love the phrasing, splits the skull of an Italian opponent. What a description.
This is from
That's what
Peter
Zinedine
Wilson.
Zidane tried to do.
This is from Peter Wilson's Heart of Europe.
Nice. I read there was a great art. I said no tangents. There was the last evidence of the written games criticism from Mr. Beatongue is on a guy's website that I don't like. But who is also dead now. It was
You're gonna need to link me this because I have no idea what you're talking about.
Him writing about EVE Online and talking about what it was like being in the Goon Swarm, and talking about how the Goon Swarm won EVE Online, became so big, was the same sort of strategy we saw. Was the same sort of thing we saw in a Euro Cup final that I remember watching, where an Italian footballer said some racist, misogynist things about Zinedine Zidane's sister or something, and then Zinedine Zidane turned around and headbutted that Italian footballer and then got sent off, and then Italy went on to win. Like red card, down one man, and then Italy went on to win the whole thing. And he was talking about how you can apply this logic to how Goon Swarm won EVE Online. Was they would say the most awful things to you. Oh, they would harass you until you stopped wanting to play the game.
Oh my god.
And logged out.
EVE Online, famously also the game where someone actually cut someone else's power at their house.
Yes.
So that they couldn't participate in a battle.
Yes. Sorry, that's the last thing Mr. Beatongue has put on the internet about video games, as far as I can tell.
You need to link that to me because I'm actually
curious. I will.
Okay. And also, I'm looking at what blog are you talking about? But it's fine. I'll look.
Seamus Young.
Okay.
Anyway. Email.
Next up.
Yeah, thank you for your email, Kat. Next email.
Yes.
I'll do order of inbox. So the next one, it's been a while. Cedrixer's here.
Hello, Cedrixer.
Saying
you don't know yet, but we kind of like your show.
breaking my Leo-centric silence. Well, the end of Showa Phase 2, I guess you want to call it, the journey is finally complete. I must congratulate you all for making this far, even though there's still 50 more years of content to cover, but baby steps. Listen, there's some gaps.
Don't phrase it like that. I'm dying.
Don't say that. Don't say that. Under no circ, you're not allowed to.
I only got half a fucking century to get through.
Listen. There's gaps. We got gaps. It's fine.
Anyway. Continue.
Now, Leo, this is the point where I feel I have to try and justify why it's my favorite Ultra show of all time, and why I believe other people feel the same way. I know you've all had your ups and downs with this one, perfectly understandable. It is a show with definite peaks and valleys. The reason why I've been less active than other previous seasons with this email is specifically because I want to let you guys, three's thoughts on the play out before I give my spiel on mine. So that's nice.
Yeah.
Not like being in our ear, like here's why this is the cooking. That's cool. Ultraman Leo, more than any other series, Ultra series, I should say, nay, more than any other tokusatsu, I take it back, ticks all my personal boxes for what I love to see in a TV show. The journey is certainly not a perfect one, but there's maybe like 3 episodes total where I can say I do not like anything with them. The main character relationship, one that can be endlessly discussed and is very well realized. Stories per episode, always taking different directions that, while could still be considered bad for inconsistency sakes, 9 times out of 10 find a way to keep me engaged and entertained. With them at their worst folk thought moments I can get simple entertainment from, and at their best providing some thought-provoking messages that all contribute to the overarching themes. Speaking of, the show's consistent themings of grief and overcoming life's hardships, simple, inspiring to me, even at a time where I, thankfully, didn't need the messages as I first watched the show, and it still struck me and became something I held on to. The action and inspiring showcase of how you simply don't need to make something super realistic to make it simply badass. I'd go on about other aspects as well, but I've cut a lot of things out of this email already to keep it concise. The long and short of it is that while Leo isn't a perfect show, it is by far my favorite for being an ideal combination of elements, both semantic and syntactic, to create one-of-a-kind show that we will never see anything approaching its boldness and unashamedly its self-forgiveness again. I do think like that's maybe a thing where we disagree a little bit. Just a bit of like, we can sometimes feel the cowardice in not being itself when the show was at its roughest. But also I do appreciate this impassioned giving your thoughts.
Yeah,
on
I mean, thank you for your email. It's you don't need to justify yourself. But appreciate the email.
Ace fans do though.
I am happy.
True.
No.
I believe in everyone's right to subjectivity, except Ace fans. You're on trial.
I'm happy that you have found a thing that is like the ideal cocktail mix of like, oh, I fuck with this. I hope everyone should find a thing like that. Mine is Gundam F91 for some fucking reason.
Yeah, that's true. I think
and let me tell you, that's a fucking mess. That's
hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, we all have our like, don't take this as me giving it a number grading, but like we all have that 7 out of 10, which is like our favorite thing ever.
Oh yeah.
Now, not my favorite thing ever, but I am currently rewatching Ruby.
Oh, we got to put you down for that one. I'm sorry.
Listen, they have an excuse. They got Tubi to listen to.
I got Tubi to listen to.
Yeah,
I'm on board.
I was watching. I started watching the trailers, but I couldn't stand another minute, so I turned it off.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. That's the wrong song. That's from mid-season 1. That does not happen in the trailers.
It's from BB Tang. It's fine. That's the only one of the few Ruby things I know is that song.
That song's kind of good. That song is Red Light Roses Part 2.
Do you want to know how
I wish you could see the face I just made.
How I first heard that song? Do I know the context where I first heard that song?
I bet you first heard that song in Jackson's Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood tweet.
No, I heard it in this video.
Yes.
Oh my god. This is from YouTube channel Lazy AMVs. This is Can't Escape from Crossing Fate. This is a Fresh Prince edit. Anyway,
Ruby Rose was one of my 2 mains in that game, so who could say if she's bad or not?
Yeah. Anyway, I do have to
Ruby's
finish
not
this.
good. Ruby's not good. Ruby is not good in the way that Cydrixer likes Leo. This was a bad comparison. I shouldn't have picked Ruby, but I wanted to say it out loud.
Cydrixer's.
Yeah. Anyway. Anywho, guess what time it is? It's time for Stickers. If you were to create an Ultraman blank tribute episode for a modern season, what would you make about it? What would you make it about? Question. So please humor me.
I always forget this question is coming.
Hold on. So Jixer, you're British. Put a U in that humor.
Ooh, called out. The Canadian managed to be. Oh, it's like Hijikata being more of a samurai than a samurai.
You have to move over here now. It's the law.
Honestly,
like
more Samurai the Samurai is me looking at the Canadians renaming no kings to no tyrants.
Yeah. Anyway.
So if you were to create an Ultraman Leo tribute episode for a modern season, what would you make it about?
Is it too easy to say that Ultra 7 shows up to put someone through hell training? Because I feel like that's the obvious go-to.
I mean,
that's
the
heart.
The thing is, that would be really fucking good.
Yeah.
Or alternatively, Leo does it.
And, like, you could make it really goofy and over the top to kind of be like, hey, remember that?
Exactly.
Sometimes it's good when things reference old things.
Leo puts someone through the training.
Yeah.
And they're like, what good will this do me? And he's like, I once asked the same questions.
Wait. Hold on, even better. Ultraman Leo is giving the training, and Seven's there to help him. Like Leo's, like, doing the training, but Seven has to, like, help him, like, learn how to train. And Seven's like, you're not going hard enough. You need to be more of an asshole.
Yes. Yes.
I want one that's, like, going back to the Gamorot planet and, like, what's the state of the planet there? Or like, someone, like, revives a Gamorot and goes berserk or something.
Yeah. I want for the end game of the Punished Ide season, he steals the key.
That key better show up again.
That key's so cool.
You know what? Ide steals the key, and he uses the key to, like, get the Ultraman into a freezer and cut some of the bones.
No, Ide launches the whatever the fuck they used in Ultra 7 to blow up planets, and they have to use the key to intercept the missile, and it starts a planetary war. And Ide's like, this is all part of my machinations.
Yeah.
And, like, Ide is, like, at the helm of a Bolton army.
Yes. The Boltons have forgiven Ide.
He's like, there's a few more of them frozen in storage that they somehow also missed.
I think these are good answers.
Yeah.
More folk slap.
No. Somehow I feel like I was the one who was hurt most by folk slop. Somehow.
I was dying. I think it was the kind of dying where I was just able to compartmentalize.
Yeah.
Also, I was gone for some of the folk slop.
That helps.
I think. Or was it the horror slop? No, it was the horror slop, because then I was like, oh, that first one was good, and then you two had to kindly remind me that wasn't part of the fucking horror series.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Which still is the most...
The horror episodes, awful. no horror in them.
Yeah, three out of 5 horror episodes where horror just means Hokkaido, I guess.
Oh, hang on. There were some good episodes, regardless of whether they were horror or not. North Satan is from one of those episodes.
Yes, true.
Anyway.
Alas, the conclusion of Leo has arrived, so now on to, well, not exactly greener, more like been out in the song too long and slightly yellowed pastures ahead. Well, thank you for that.
80's gonna be my favorite. You heard it here first. I don't know how, I don't know why. I'm gonna figure it out.
You got 4 months to do it.
The opening's too good.
Hold on, I have a coin here. Heads, it's gonna be the best thing ever. Tails, it's gonna be the worst thing ever.
Okay, go for it.
Alright, that is a heads. Okay, yeah, Ultraman 80 is gonna it's gonna be the ideal form of Ultraman.
Exactly.
I mean,
It's
there's
that
gonna be
easy. It's all
80
about
of them.
headspace. There's going to be 80 Ultramen. That's more than one an episode. Thank you, Cydrixa, for your email.
Thank you for your email.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm walking
For your
over
email.
here.
Thank you for your email. Next email.
Tep.
We're at 3 hours. We gotta pick up the pace a little.
Oh, we made it to finale length. Woo! Not from
Yeah,
preamble,
listen.
but just from talking about the show, I guess.
Yeah, listen. I'm not happy about it necessarily.
Woo! Anyway.
I'm out here in this room. It's very hard to keep cold. We have to pick up the pace. I'm dying, Cloud.
From Tep, if that setting sun is Ultraman Leo, ellipsis. Hello, Ultra Q. I must confess that due to life, I've fallen behind on my rewatch and listening, but I had to email for the Leo finale. First, my Kaiju Soda rankings. Top 10, Kirara, Nova, Rollin, Silverbloom, Pressure. That was a good one. We didn't talk about Pressure. Funny Wizard Guy. Mayako, Hangler, I think you mean, Akamania, Carolyn, and Atlanta.
Mayuko's is just a child with a doll.
Yeah.
You're allowed.
Pressure's cool.
What was the number one, sorry?
Kirara. That might be I don't know if that's first or 10th, but probably first, to be honest. But Rollin High.
I heard
Arcamania
Arcamania in there. I approve.
Yeah. Bottom 5: Vermin, Wolf, Shinman. Excuse you. Aringa and Clean.
Yeah, get fucked, Shin Man.
What? You didn't appreciate Go in the gimp suit? Jeez. Get massive.
Damn.
Shit.
Damn.
It looked like jack shit.
Uh-huh.
What do you mean? He's just wearing a mask. I was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Liu getting sawed apart and Toru finding his pieces is one of my favorite moments in the show. Perhaps more fucked up than the Silver Blue Massacre. Definitely. Well, don't know. Anyway. Interesting. Image read that means nothing in particular.
There's this image of Mokoko, of
Yeah.
a Mokoko thought saying, I'm Jack.
Yeah. Presumably because she's playing Stranger of Paradise.
Presumably because she's playing Stranger of Paradise.
At this point, Toru barely even reacts. Just a great way to squeeze in the last bit of trauma. The kids take out Commander Black as 2. Thank you, Brad. All of these are going into my new policy of making an Imgur for all that I have to put at the bottom of every episode now. I like the Ultraman King Deus Ex Machina. In this show, Ultraman King is godlike IMO. Your life isn't yours to give. When you're quote-unquote meant to die is beyond your control and seems arbitrary and pointless, but there is meaning, if only in that there are others, Toru in this case, to live for. At least that's my reading of this. 100% intentional thematic depths of Ultraman Leo. I do think it's funny that Ultraman King's like, no, you don't get to die yet. Get the fuck out of there.
Get out of there.
Just like just like when Ultraman King revived that one guy's fiance. Not Ultraman King, Father Ultra.
I will say.
When he was like, I totally love you and would marry you, and he's like, nah, I guess you got a responsibility now, motherfucker. It's like,
if they are gonna do like the Abrahamic, like gesturing, like kind of Christian mythos stuff, I feel like this is a good Like, I like this more, and I fuck with this a lot more than oh no, we got a 2-parter where someone's gonna get crucified. I think this is a good version of the divine intervention. Yeah.
Hold on, wait. Is Ultraman King bringing back Leo a medical miracle?
No, because it doesn't. He's bringing him back to defeat a kaiju. He's not. He didn't defeat the. If the king defeated Bunyo and then Leo reassembled, it would be a medical miracle. But I feel like the order of operation.
Fucking Bunyo. Sorry, you said if King defeated Bunyo, and I was sat here like, what am I doing with my life? Oh man, sorry, that hit really hard.
As I've watched, I've thought about my shot-for-shot remake of the show and the few things I would change. I'll cut some episodes and mod a few others. For example, Giro and Takeshi's wolf girlfriend would stay dead. Remember they just brought back Giro to send him into space?
I do.
Yeah.
Ultraman's dumb. In this last stretch, besides what I mentioned in the start of the Saucer Creatures arc, I'd like to see more focus on the Miyamas, especially Sakiko. One of the most interesting things in the show never really examines is that because Izumi is parallel to Momoko and Ayumi to Kaoru, Sakiko seems parallel to Dan in some ways, per ellipsis. Ultra Mom.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
The mother of Ultra.
Yeah.
I called her that in a summary last week.
Now I'd probably
or like 2 weeks ago.
Now I'd probably kill Izumi. While the show has killed enough women for Gen already, I think it would be an opportunity to flesh out Ayumi and Sakiko's characters by seeing them experience loss. I'd like to see some real conflict between Sakiko and Gen, reminiscence of a relationship with Dan, but that resolves amicably. Heck, I'd like to see Gen invite her to help him train like he invited Momoko and Takeshi just for a visual parallel throwback. I'm glad they don't revive Dan, by throwing more of Gen representing by the captain. Anyway. Think about my,
longingly.
Yeah. Think about my Ultraman Leo remake really had me think about how you would never get a Toku show like it today. The haphazardness, the brutality, the flying by the seat of your pants construction of a story and a theme. This is why I'm a show elitist, I suppose. Anyway, you have some great Ultraman ahead of you in Tiga. And also there's 80. Hope you enjoy. Well, thank you.
People seem to be down on what is going to be the greatest show ever.
Yeah.
It's going to be really good. He came to us from a star.
He did come to us from a star.
Yeah. Thank you.
I looked at the back of the Ultraman 80 box, and in big red letters it just says, "He will teach us about love and courage."
Excellent.
Wait, love and courage?
And courage.
God damn.
2 for 1.
Yeah. Oh goodness. This email did make me think. I think of all the things we've seen so far, I would make the argument this is the only show I think we've seen that I think a remake or some sort of reimagining would be like a justifiable creative.
Yeah, I can see that
thing to do for Tsuburaya if they ever wanted to. I think this would
like
benefit
like
a lot
original
from
Ultraman is bad because it was written that way. This show is bad. This show struggles at times on account of other things.
Yeah, I think a second pass would be very beneficial no matter how you wanted to shake things out. For this show.
Yeah,
but a second pass today would not have the things in it that we want. That in particular, not. I think Tep is looking for from this.
Which is why she's a show elitist.
Yeah.
I think if you did the thing that I think Kamen Rider's kind of doing this, but like other
like Black Sun, right?
Yes, exactly what I was gonna say. Is like if you do like a side web thing. Or like OVA, I mean it's not an OVA because it's not animated, but like a side thing for adults that like appeals to the boomers in your audience that can't let go of the past. This would be a good one to do.
There's a mid-aught show called Ultra 7X.
Yeah, there's future Ultra Q stuff that I hope is good.
Yeah, yeah. Like I got a question, like because I did like a Ask Me shit about Toku a couple days ago on Blue Sky, and someone asked like, "Hey, what do you think a show that would be, if done well, you'd like to see a Trigger version do?" Because Trigger, well established as having the subtitle "New Generation Tiga." Not so about what they're doing there, but I was like, yeah, probably like Leo or maybe like a version of Ace that actually commits to the idea. Like those are the things I like.
You mean a show called Trigger, not the shows that have been made by the anime that have been made by Trigger?
That's also what I thought.
No, I thought you were talking about SSSS Gridman.
No, I was talking about Ultraman Trigger, subtitle New Generation Tiga. And yeah,
Mirror Man.
What?
Like SSS's Gridman.
Oh,
they make,
yeah.
like Mirror Man.
No, that's just like the type
S,
of
right, grid. Right. Now, what letter does Gridman start with?
Don't worry about it. It's like a Jerry Anderson situation.
I see.
It's pronounced differently.
I see. Yeah. I think. Yeah. I don't know anything about these side reimagining things. So like I don't. I'm kind of like I think a lot of the.
Granted, like Trigger was not a side thing; it was like the mainline show for that year. But
Okay.
But Black Side
I
is like a
think
side thing. For Kamen Rider.
I think ultimately a lot of the like really nasty stuff in the relationship between Gen and Dan that I think people are big fans of. I think that kind of stuff would maybe get left by the wayside. Although to be fair, it is famous. That is like it's the famous thing about. You know what? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. No way to tell.
No way to tell.
Is that it for that email?
Yes.
Thank you for your email.
Thank you for your email.
Thank you for your email. One last one.
Let's go.
Cross Zeta. Ultraman Leo finale.
Oh, hello.
Hello, Ultra Pod. Congrats on finishing Leo. This, even after rewatch, is probably my favorite from the 70s for Ultra. Return of Ultraman has a really slow start that into a handful of episodes that I liked. I can extrapolate from that. Ace, lol.
Yeah.
And Taro does not have the insane shit or just the kaiju designs I like. The combo of the first 15 and the last 18 just kind of make it for me. So yeah, I guess a tasty sandwich with like a good bread and maybe questionable meat.
Mm-hmm.
Nova's probably the sickest kaiju from the Sausage series. That's definitely true. Well, maybe. Look at our ratings.
Me nodding my head sagely.
What if Crablo?
Decided for y'all to cover those movies. You're almost in the Heisei
Get those
era.
from the store.
You just get crab from the store?
Oh, like crab.
That's
meat.
crazy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. They say excited for y'all to cover those movies. You're almost in the Heisei era. Yeah. Yeah. The 80s will go by for us very quickly once we're done with 80. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, this the Leo experience is bewildering. But I think at the end of it, looking back, I'm like, damn, yeah, all right.
I guess
I'm into it.
Unfortunate that it was as messy as it was, but I guess there are worse ways you could have ended the quote unquote franchise for like 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm happy I think overall I am fairly mixed on the second era, like Showa, whatever you want to call it. Like
here, yeah. I think that's very fair. I think overwhelmingly we just like the 60s more than the 70s at the moment.
Yeah, I like Return a lot. Ace can go fuck itself. Taro, I'm just like, it's not for me, but sure, it's
no. Ace cannot go fuck itself anymore. Got divorced.
He's got 2 rings, and he's got to use both hands.
Yeah. And Leo, I'm just like, yeah, I think Leo is definitely a show that, like, there are so many different elements of it to focus on that, I mean, we've kind of talked about this, like, it's very easy to piece together, I think, if you want to. Like,
the show you want in your head.
Yes, like, this is what I'm gonna take with me, is like, fuck yeah, this is how it lives on.
Like when
for me,
like when Gundam Seed fans pretend their characters actually have a personality.
Now Leo's better than Gundam Seed.
I know.
Don't put it in the papers that we said it was bad like Seed.
We like Leo here and not Seed.
Yeah, I think it just so happens for me that there is enough of the like stuff in Leo that I'm like, ugh, I don't get this out of my sandwich, that I'm like, like it's so close, but it's not quite there. But overall, still a thumbs up on Leo. It
Yeah.
Last 3 episodes really crystallized it into something I like, fortunately.
At least we only had one dog shit season.
Yes.
Yeah, I am, like, technically, hopefully one day we'll be able to loop back to the 70s for one last hurrah with the anime. But that's, like, you know, of a duology of, like, era-wise with 80. So it will be, you know, a different thing. But you know, I'm definitely glad to be done with, like, more or less 70s Ultraman.
I am starting to feel the, like, man, I'm ready for a change. I'm ready to move on for whatever this becomes as time progresses.
Now,
it's not in the popular, like, zeitgeist like it was at the start of this era.
Now, bearing in mind both that there is a gap and also another gap that follows it immediately, what are your predictions for 80?
It's going to be the best show ever.
Yeah, it's so true. I'm going to be honest. The fact that, like, because I don't go out of my way to look for Ultra stuff because we're doing this podcast, right? Even then, I feel like 80 is this black void of non-interest in my brain compared to everything else that I know about the series.
Please ignore the emails.
That makes me go, I feel what 80 is they think maybe it's time we bring it back. And maybe it's not quite there, and it just kind of gets forgotten about in the sands of time as they tried, and maybe it just wasn't time yet. I think realistically that's what I'm expecting from 80. Maybe it has some cool stuff along the way. I bet there's some bangers in 80 that we're gonna be like, oh, this is super underrated, because, like, you know, it kind of falls in an awkward position in the broader franchise. But I'm not expecting... I think it's probably... If I have to Occam's razor it, I bet it's, like, just kind of an alright show, but like, it, for reasons beyond it, and just, like, how it's slotted in time, it's probably not anyone's favorite, really. So
yeah. Of course, the best show ever.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the best show ever.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, that's thank you for email, not across data.
Did I die?
No.
I think my internet actually did cut out, because I think Mel cut out for me.
Oh, okay. Well, we're all back now.
Yeah.
Well, is that it for emails this week?
Yeah.
So. Thank you, everyone who emailed.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Cross Data. Yeah, I think I missed the tail end of Cross Data's email being read. I'm sorry, but
no, they just finished off with excited for y'all to cover those movies, and you're almost the Haze era.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect.
Which is objectively true in terms of our
Wow. What is up next? Let's try to... Yes.
I can explain.
So next week is...
We got a film.
One film.
It's this is the first time we're having, like, a proper Ultraman movie. So
yeah.
So gonna tell you right now, this is a Thai-Japanese co-production. Let me just quickly look at the sheet. There is it's a Thai-Japanese co-production, and the Japanese name is The Six Ultra Brothers versus the Monster Army. However, it got a Japanese release 5 years later in 1975, and also 1979. Sorry, and also it has a reduced runtime compared to the Thai version. So, for the purposes of podcast original release, etc., the Thai version is the one you can seek. It is on YouTube because no one gives a shit.
Okay, I was about to say, do you know if this... Because I think I own a Blu-ray of this. Do you know which version it is offhand?
I don't think you would own a Blu-ray of this.
Okay, so I think I own a movie. What's it called? What's the actual name of the movie?
So the Japanese name is The Six Ultra Brothers versus the Monster Army. The Thai name, which you can find it on as YouTube, is Hanuman and the Seven Ultramen.
Okay.
And I have a nice hefty write-up for this, because this is an important one for reasons.
Okay.
Oh yes, the thing I own is Superior 8 Ultra Brothers.
That is a different thing. That's mid-aughts.
Okay.
I will also say, I will probably find some way to talk about the differences between the cuts. But yeah, for the purpose of this podcast, Thai version is what we're watching. And then also, as a bonus thing, there's like a 6-minute, also on YouTube in a more official capacity, thing called Ultraman, a new power in... Why did it take me to the fucking Fresh Prince thing when I clicked YouTube? Ultraman, a new power in Singapore, which is, it's like 2020.
So these are the two things we're watching next week.
Yes.
And just real quick, a week after is we're reading a manga, the Ultraman manga, and there's also gonna be a short animation.
How long is that manga?
5 volumes.
Okay. I'm gonna get started on that now. To be honest,
Yeah,
honestly, you as well. No reason not to.
I
Especially because the
sure
week
I'm not-
after that we have Golden Kamuy.
oh, that's so right. That's so true.
But yeah,
Wow.
there's also been an animated short called Ultraman vs. Jackal. You can find on Archive somewhere. That's also related to the manga, so we're gonna watch that week with the manga, but not for next week. Next week's just Singapore and the Thai movie.
Cool.
And then after that, after those 2 weeks, we have Golden Kamuy week. Brad gets a week off, except for the fact that we'll probably be watching the first 2 episodes of Omega that same week as well.
Oh yes, that time of the year.
Good time of the year. And then finally, after all that, we'll actually start 80.
Yeah.
Also, there'll be like a Gamera pod coming out after this one, which I'm recording with Catherine tomorrow.
Nice. Excellent. All right. That is a podcast, I believe. If you want to follow us online, you can do so at Ultra QUEUE. That is on Blue Sky at Ultra QUEUE. We're also on Twitter at Ultra_QUEUE. I am on Blue Sky. I'm at Red November. And Mal, your plugs.
You can follow me at JCrowns on Twitter and Blue Sky. We have the email, ultraqpod@gmail.com, and a coffee, theoretically, for subtitling stuff, ultraq fund. We'll see if there's stuff in the background. And there needs to be movement, but, we'll see. Brad.
Yeah, you can find me everywhere that's Beinvoked. That's BEINVOKED, all one word on Blue Sky. Also, on YouTube, after you listen to this, when this episode comes out, within a few days, I should probably have a video up collecting my thoughts on G-Quawks. So,
yeah. And then we'll have a spoiler cast for it.
Yeah.
And we will consider Brad's points.
I have a lot to say. I might make people mad. I'm gonna be honest.
We will see.
Yeah.
You're allowed. It's gonna be a high energy podcast.
Oh, absolutely.
Also, if y'all are starting early on the manga, I just want to tell you right now it's pinned. Don't worry about it. Make sure to double check. If not, I can send you something.
Okay.
Because some archives may be taken out, and I forget, but it should be around somewhere. However, I do want to say it is a Viz release, an official one from the 90s, which unfortunately means it has been reversed to read the quote-unquote correct American order way. For
classic.
So, just heads up.
Grim.
I also know in advance, it's technically an incomplete translation, because there's like 2 quote-unquote chapters that didn't get translated, but I will talk about the one of them that matters, because there's enough notes on Japanese internet that I can talk about it. So Just some things to know about the two.
That is officially the end of the podcast. We're cutting it there before we've just hit the 3-hour 30 mark. My whole body is melting. I'm going to die. The podcast is over. Goodbye, everyone. We'll see you next week.
See you, everyone.
Later.
Ultraman 80, he came to us from the start. 君は誰かを愛しているか、それは生きてることなんだ。君は勇気を持っているか、どんなことにも負けない心。遠くの星から来た男が愛と勇気を教えてくれる。ウルトラマン80、ウルトラマン80。He came to us from the start. Ultraman 80, Ultraman 80, he came to us from the start. 何を泣いてる涙を拭き、君は弱くはないはずだ。誰も同じだ、辛いことをみんな持ってる心の中に。